is ESPN on ABC.
Welcome everyone to Truist Field on a gorgeous fall afternoon here in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Site of a top 25 battle today between the 5th-ranked Clemson Tigers and number 21, the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. DJ Uiagalelei and Clemson arrive, riding the nation's longest winning streak, 9 in a row. Meanwhile, Wake Forest has won 11 straight here on its home field. The last loss here to Clemson in 2020. This is the ACC on ESPN. This could be the most important conference game of the year. And it's the ESPN College Football presentation on ABC, presented by Arby's. And here come the Demon Deacons. Hi, everybody, and welcome. I'm Sean McDonough, along with Todd Blackledge. We'll be joined momentarily by Molly McGrath. Delighted to have you with us. Todd, a year ago, Clemson was 10-3. At most places they celebrate. At Clemson, it was a down year. Their 6-year run as ACC champs over. How do you size up this year's team?
Well, I'll tell you what, they're used to being in the college football playoff, and I think they got a great chance of going back there this year. They're much healthier as a team, and their quarterback, DJ Uiagalelei, is a different cat this year. He's carrying less weight and more confidence and making big-time plays as a thrower and a runner.
Well, Clemson, 10 wins, a down year. At Wake Forest last year, they won 11.
Yeah.
That tied the school record. They played for the ACC championship. Dave Clawson, in his 8th year, thinks this is his most talented team, but they've lost 13 in a row to Clemson.
They're talented enough, especially here at home, to play with and maybe beat Clemson, but it's critical they do 3 things that they've not done well against Clemson. Number 1, they got to get off to a fast start. Number 2, they have to give their quarterback, Sam Hartman, time to throw, because they match up well in the throw game, and they've got to take care of the football. Since Dave Clawson has been here, if they win the turnover margin, they win 84% of the time.
That's an important number for sure. Uiagalelei, Will Shipley, who's off to a great start at running back, and for Wake Forest, history-making quarterback Sam Hartman.
This letter.
The opening kickoff down from B.T. Potter to Donovan Green, and he returns for Wake Forest to the 25. Clemson won the toss and deferred, so Dave Clawson elected to take the opening kickoff from Potter. So here comes the Wake Forest offense, led by Sam Hartman, who missed their first game after surgery to remove a blood clot in his left shoulder. Played in their last 2 and has played very well, especially last week in their win over Liberty, when he threw for 325 yards, got him to 98-91. Number 1 all-time in Wake Forest history, passed Riley Skinner with that performance last week, his 79 TD passes. The school record as well. Making his 36th career start. He swings it out quickly to Taylor Marin, and nice run after the catch. He got slammed out of bounds. They want a flag on the sideline for a late hit out of bounds right in front of Dave Clawson. It was KJ Henry with, they felt, a little extra polish.
Well, big game for KJ Henry. He's from Winston-Salem. His dad was an assistant coach at Wake Forest.
On the delay, Justice Ellison, and he gets some push for the first down. Sam Hartman, 23 years old, 22-13 as their starting quarterback in his career, and they will go at a very fast tempo today. Got a veteran offensive line that returned all 5 starters from last year. Hartman out in the flat. Marin could not break a tackle, but he got very close to another first down at the 46-yard line. The safety, R.J. Mickens, made the stop.
Well, much different start for Wake Forest than their first possession in Clemson a year ago. 4 sacks early in that ball game.
Ellison has the first down. Well, last year in that game you've referenced, Todd, a couple of times, Wake Forest ran for only 36 yards on 31 carries. Warren Ruggiero, their offensive coordinator, said, we have to run the ball today. They will lean primarily on the passing game, particularly the deep throw, which they throw with regularity. Hartman Couldn't find an open receiver. Got a gain of about 2, then got blasted by Trenton Simpson. Second down at 8. Hartman starts the day needing 109 passing yards for 10,000 in his career. He'd be the 9th quarterback in the ACC to do that. Nothing doing on that run for Justice Ellison. And here comes third down and almost 10. Peyton Page the stop.
This is where you don't want to be against this Clemson defense. Take a look at the rush yards last week. Louisiana Tech, a lot of big plays, but 3rd and 10 is right in the wheelhouse for Clemson.
They bring pressure. Hartman given some time, looking for the tight end, and it's batted around and incomplete. They have an excellent tight end in Blake Whiteheart. Crowd thought there was pass interference. R.J. Mickens had the coverage along with Trenton Simpson.
Simpson was right there and actually got a hand on the football. That's a tough throw to make in between 2 defenders. Credit Trenton Simpson for being in good position.
Well, you said it. Dave Clawson said yesterday we can't be in 3rd and long. Ivan Moore, their 3rd-year starting punter, had one blocked last week against Liberty. And that one is off the side of his foot. Not a good kick, although it gets a nice bounce. Down inside the 12-yard line. 36-yard punt. DJ Uiagalelei and the Clemson offense on the field when we come back. We're back in Winston-Salem. There's the view from the AT&T 5G Skycam. DJ Uiagalelei slimmed down, lost about 30 pounds from a year ago when he struggled. Dabo Sweeney said it wasn't just him. We struggled everywhere on offense, but as you see, the completion percentage up by 9%. The passing yards per game up significantly. Playing with more confidence. And starting from his own 12, the first Clemson possession of the game. Will Shipley rips right through the middle. And he's down inside the 40-yard line. Malik Mustafa, Shipley's high school teammate, able to run him down and save a touchdown.
Well, both linebackers were so wide and widened out even with the snap of the ball, and that left a huge hole. This offensive line for Clemson, maybe the best they've had in the last 4 or 5 years. Very physical and a great first play there.
What a start. 53-yard run for Shipley. He's had 2 rushing touchdowns in each of the first 3 games. Now a screen, and that one well defended. Shipley dumped immediately by Chase Jones, a linebacker. There are the numbers for Shipley, as we mentioned. 2 touchdowns in each of the first 3 games. Clemson's records go back to 1950. He's the first man to do that. They're still trying to research deeper back. Player Spotlight brought to you by Champion. Clemson going at a quick pace. Shipley tripped up for a loss. Nice penetration by Rondell Bothroyd. When we talked yesterday to Brad Lambert, the defensive coordinator, about who played well for you so far, he said Bothroyd has been a standout.
Yeah, he's really good at both the run and in rushing the passer. He's a nice combination. That's 2 plays behind the line of scrimmage in a row for this Wake Forest defense. Under Brad Lambert, much more aggressive and attacking. That's what leads to tackles for loss.
Lambert, first year as the defensive coordinator, came from Purdue. Lots of time for Uiagalelei. Throws it deep into single coverage, and it is incomplete, but there's a flag down. Joseph Ngata, the intended receiver, and Gavin Holmes had the coverage.
Number 7, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Jeff Heiser is the referee leading this ACC crew.
Gavin Holmes is a talented guy, but there you see the grab on Ngata. Now, last week, Liberty went after him early, and they got 2 defensive pass interference penalties in a row on him. And Clemson, on their first 3rd down play, does the same thing. Goes after Gavin Holmes and draws the DPI.
And that surprised Dave Clawson last week, as Holmes had been outstanding in the first 2 games, with Liberty clearly went after him. After the penalties on back-to-back plays, he came out for a couple of plays. Along the far sideline, Jake Brenningstool, one of their tight ends. So an impressive opening drive for Clemson. Shipley's 53-yard run on the first play from scrimmage is a career long, and the longest run of this season for any Tiger player.
Shipley's really a fun guy to watch. I mean, he's a great combination of power and speed, and he's just kind of feisty. He's one of the real leaders, a vocal guy, plays with a lot of emotion.
Power and speed in the person of Shipley, who's tripped up, submarined by Jalen Garnes, the safety.
This is where, if you're Brandon Streeter, offensive coordinator, you got a great luxury of the combination of Shipley and DJ as a runner on 3rd down and short in the red zone.
And it's Shipley for the first down. Inside the 11-yard line. Shipley's a sophomore. Last week against Louisiana Tech averaged 11.6 yards per carry as he rushed for 139 yards. And averaging 13.5 per carry on this opening drive with the big one, the 53-yarder. Looked like a false start there against Clemson.
False start. Offense. Number 78. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Wake Forest was lucky because they were confused defensively. They were trying to get situated, and Clemson bailed them out with the false start penalty.
By the true freshman right tackle, Blake Miller. 6'6", 315 from Strongsville, Ohio. That seems appropriate. So 1st and 15 now. Quarterback draw, Uyunglele, even slimmed down to about 230 pounds. A powerful runner. Took on Dion Bergen.
You know, it was well chronicled that he struggled at times last year, had to overcome a lot of adversity. But I'll tell you what, one thing that made it difficult, this offensive line, they had 7 different offensive line combinations in 13 games last year. That's tough for any quarterback. He played much better the second half of the season.
Same 5 offensive linemen now starting for the 4th game in a row. That didn't happen at all last year. Uyunglele given all kinds of time by that line. Running out of it now. Throws. Caught. Touchdown. Jake Brenningstool.
This is just a really nice job of DJ not panicking. He doesn't have anything early. He waits as long as he can. He doesn't panic or leave the pocket, and then finds his tight end in the back of the end zone and puts the ball in a place where only his guy could come down with it.
His first touchdown of the season, 2nd of his career for the sophomore from Brentwood, Tennessee. A nice tight end duo with Davis Allen. B.T. Potter the extra point. And Clemson off to a 7-0 lead, Molly, on what has been a very emotional week for the Tiger football program.
Yeah, Sean, it's been a difficult and life-altering week for Clemson defensive tackle Brian Brzee and his family after his 15-year-old sister Ella lost her 18-month battle against brain cancer on September 15th. Ella was and still is an inspiration to the entire Clemson community. She spoke with the team just days before her passing, and Coach Dabo Swinney said her strength and joy for life changed this group of young men. And on Tuesday, with teammates and coaches by his side, Brzee and his family laid Ella to rest during her funeral in Maryland. This unwavering support is why Brian Brzee felt comfortable returning to the football field so quickly after his sister's death. And the entire Brzee family is in attendance today. They shared an embrace with Brian before the game, and Ella's impact is everywhere today, and it's still felt by this community, Sean.
Indeed it is. Pre-game today, parents Rich and Megan, sisters Kendall and Bailey here.
Now, it's so tragic. You can't even imagine that with the family, but the close family all here together, and the Clemson football family is a close family as well.
This time it'll be a touchback on the kickoff by B.T. Potter. And Dabo Swinney spoke so passionately, eloquently at one of his press conferences earlier this week after they had been to the service on Tuesday about what a great example Ella set. Brave, optimistic, cherishing every day, and that's a message that he has tried to impart to his team.
Yeah, and just the fact that you just never know. You know, you never know how many days you have, how much life you have. Live it to the fullest. Do the right thing. Treat people the right way. And Ella exemplified that, you know, and it's a lesson for all of us.
And on first down, a loss. Taylor Marin dumped for a loss. Behind the line of scrimmage, Toriano Pride, a true freshman. They'll mark it at the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 10 for Sam Hartman, down 7-0. And an errant pass behind Jamal Banks.
He had 2 guys open there, and that time Sam Hartman just inaccurate with the football. His feet kind of got him in trouble. And once again now another 3rd and long. And interesting, because of some injuries to the Clemson secondary, they're playing with 3 linebackers.
And Hartman has time again, throws far side, caught, but looks like it's going to be short of the first down for A.T. Perry.
It was close. I mean, it was close when he was first.
Yeah, they're going to give him the 35-yard line and a first down. Wow.
I think he made it past the sticks on the initial catch. Nice job coming back. That's close. That's really close.
And
they have to stop this one.
Being on the field was a first down. That play was under further review.
Dabo Sweeney had that right in front of him on the far sideline. They'll come over, Jeff Heiser, to speak with the replay official, Mike Shepard. We'll sort it out when we come back.
College football on ABC is presented by Arby's. Arby's, we have the meats.
While we were away, the announcement that they have changed the spot of the football. A.T. Perry, when he contacted the ball, did not have the line to gain the 35-yard line. They've spotted it about a half-yard short. And Dave Clausen sends the punter on again, Ivan Mora.
I don't know that you go for a fake here, but maybe they'll try to draw an offsides penalty with a hard count or a shift with their punt team on 4th and a half a yard.
Clemson has blocked 2 punts already this year and 3 blocked kicks. Tied for Temple with the national lead. Nose up spiral. Will Taylor, fair catch at the 25-yard line. Here's the first play from scrimmage. Todd set up the touchdown drive.
Well, you see these linebackers widening out because they have to respect the running ability of the quarterback. You get a block at the point of attack, and then the speed of Shipley does the rest. Great way to start the offensive game for Clemson.
Better field position this time. Shipley has happened in a big way. As their leading rusher last year as a freshman, more than 700 yards, and he missed 3 games due to injury. Quick slant after the play fake, and the diving catch made by Ngata for 15 yards and another first down.
Well, you just see DJ look so different. I mean, he is confident, he's decisive, and because of that, he's way more accurate than he was a year ago.
Pick to Phil Maffa. The defender fell down, and so did the receiver. There is a flag thrown. There was contact apparently near midfield.
Personal foul, face mask, offense, number 8, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Adam Randall, the highly touted true freshman, was the intended receiver, and the penalties against him.
Well, you're trying to get off of press coverage, and Randall did a little bit too much. Got his hand in the face mask. That's why the defender was on the ground. They both lost their balance, and the penalty goes against Clemson.
Randall, the latest in a long line of top wide receiver recruits to come into Clemson. They've had 11 receivers drafted since 2013, tied with Ohio State for the most. Swing pass, Davis Allen with flags down. He's dropped for a loss. Malik Mustafa, who's had a terrific start to this season, the sophomore from Charlotte, and a transfer from Richmond.
Holding, offense. offense, number 0. Penalty decline. Second down.
That's Antonio Williams, the other freshman receiver they're very high on. So back-to-back plays, the two touted freshmen with penalties. So far, Wake Forest doing a nice job defending those quick perimeter throws. And now a long yardage situation. If you're DJ, you're thinking just get some of this back on second down and a mile.
Phil Maffa, the running back. DJ handed it off. And Maffa out to the 29-yard line. Tackled by Ryan Smenda and Chase Jones, veteran linebackers for Wake Forest. Third down, 21, 6:10 to go. Opening quarter. Clemson up 7-0. Uyunglele fires and has a man wide open. Juggling catch made by Brenningstool, who has the touchdown. And they get 30 on third down and 21.
Wake Forest is only rushing 3. I mean, they're only rushing 3. They're trying to drop back and cover all the zones. But right down the seam, tight end sees it, looks back for the ball, and DJ makes the right choice again. Third down and long, you're not supposed to give that up if you're Wake Forest defense.
Uyunglele perfect so far. They march right down the field on the opening possession. And here they come again. 4-man rush. They don't even get near him, and the long ball is caught for a touchdown. Brandon Spector with Gavin Holmes in coverage. 41 yards. Dave Clawson said yesterday, we have to get off to a good start. This is a nightmare.
Well, Gavin Holmes went for the interception. The ball went through his arms into the hands of Brandon Spector, and Clemson with a touchdown. It was man coverage. Gavin Holmes was in good position, but just couldn't catch the football. But an accurate throw again. DJ Uyunglele just looks so different in his confidence in throwing the football.
E.T. Potter for the extra point. Spector the touchdown, his first of the season. And the 41 yards is the longest catch of his career. What an impressive start for number 5 Clemson on the road. Not only has Clemson won 13 in a row against Wake Forest, most of them haven't been close. Almost 28 points, the average margin of victory under Dave Clawson. Wake Forest is 0-8, and there hasn't been a game closer than 14 points. What a start for DJ Uyunglele. Perfect. 7 for 7 and 2 touchdowns. Potter's kickoff is a touchback. Here's Kevin Nagandi.
Sean, good afternoon. Time now for a Mayhem Moment, brought to you by Allstate. To the big house, Maryland's Ty Felton got some issues on the opening kick here, Dan.
Yeah, you got to get underneath it right there. Turns it over. Michigan, well, you want a fast start with your first big test of the year, and they got it.
J.J. McCarthy, the Luke Schoonmaker, 7-0 Michigan, 8 seconds in. Right now it's 7-3. Back to you.
All right, Kevin, Coach Mullen. Here it's 40-0 Clemson. The Tigers have already had 3 plays of longer than 30 yards. Wake hasn't had a play go longer than 9 yards. They've punted twice. Sam Hartman launches it deep and incomplete. And there are flags down. Donovan Green extended one arm. He had the true freshman Toriano Pride in single coverage.
That was a late
pass
grab.
interference. Defense, number 23. 15-yard penalty, first down.
The receiver had separation at the end of the route, Donovan Green. Right there, he's got separation, and at the end, you're going to see a late grab on the right arm, and that withdrew the flag. Yesterday, when we talked to Wes Goodwin, he talked about these freshman corners he has. He likes them. He says they just can't panic when the ball's in the air. That's what happened right there.
They will take a number of deep shots. Here's a wide receiver screen. Keyshawn Williams upended by R.J. Mickens. Well, they have some injuries today in the secondary for the new coordinator, Wes Goodwin. Pride, Colville, Lucas thrust into action today with Andrew McCoob out, Malcolm Green, their starting nickel, not playing. The ball is out and it goes out of bounds. Ellison was the ball carrier. They'll send it back to the spot of the fumble, which is very near the first down marker.
Well, we've already seen Trenton Simpson put his impact on the game. Very powerful outside linebacker, strips the ball. Wake Forest lucky to maintain possession, still third down and short.
When we talked to Dave Clausen yesterday, he raved about Simpson. Said Clemson about as good as they've ever been in the defensive line, perhaps not as good as they've been, or at least not as experienced in the back seven. But Simpson is a standout.
Look at this defensive formation.
On third and short, the run fake. Pete throw, and they grab A.T. Perry. That defense, young in the secondary, but not Fred Davis, fooled by the fake.
But Sean, Clemson, look, all 11 defenders are right here. They're expecting run. And A.T. Perry's going to have single coverage, and they go play action, and he's beat from jump. I mean, he is beat right away and does the only thing he can do, which is grab to prevent a touchdown.
Do you like that defense?
No, I don't, especially when you're beat up in the secondary.
I think you're inviting what just happened when you do that. Goodwin, of course, is taken over for Brent Venables, who went on to Oklahoma as head coach of the Sooners. Lost both coordinators. Tony Elliott now the head coach at Virginia. Hartman steps up, throwing deep again, and it is caught for a touchdown. Jamal Banks beat Fred Davis for 36 yards. Dennis for the extra point. First year starting place kicker. He hasn't missed anything yet. Zach Murphy, the holder.
One of the unique things about this offense, they call it the slow mesh. Watch the back and the quarterback. They're going to go right to the line of scrimmage, and at the last minute, Hartman will pull the ball out, but watch the back. Help right there on Ryan Brazee. And that allows Hartman to have enough time to get the ball down the field to his best contested catch guy, Jamal Banks. One-on-one coverage again. Banks excellent at going up and fighting for the football. But credit the back for helping on Brazee, and Hartman just moving slightly in the pocket. But that slow mesh, it's a long fake. It's right by the line of scrimmage. You got to have some courage to stay in there and make the throw, and Hartman does.
Dave Clausen said Sam Hartman needs help in protection, not just from the offensive line, but the running backs and the tight ends. And that touchdown pass is the 80th of his career. He's now alone in 7th all-time in ACC history. Number 1 among Power 5 quarterbacks, tied with Jared Dagey of Troy with 80, most among active FBS quarterbacks and touchdown passes. The kickoff is the touchback. Here's Kevin.
Sean, reminding you, week 4, early windows, plenty of action over on ESPN right now. Auburn up 14-0 against Mizzou. Iowa State Baylor through one quarter. They're tied up at 7 apiece. Number 1 Georgia up 9-3 against Kent State on the SEC Network Plus. ACC Network has Pitt doubling up Rhode Island. I want to remind you also, we'll have live look-ins from Yankee Stadium when Aaron Judge is up the bat in pursuit of home run number 61. Back to Sean, Todd, and Molly.
All right. All with baseball fandom keeping an eye on the historic season Aaron Judge is having. Kobe Pace, the ball carrier. Number 2 running back behind Will Shipley.
He had 191 yards against Wake Forest and 2 touchdowns a year ago. They ran for 332 against Wake Forest a year ago at Clemson.
Demon Deacons really haven't slowed them down at all. This time they do, as Kobe Pace collided with his own man, it seemed. Jordan McFadden, the left tackle, and now Pace is still down on the turf.
almost got leg whipped by his own guy going through the hole.
But you wonder if it was the contact, because it didn't look like there was much, or if he just injured himself on the cut. Junior from Cedartown, Georgia. Good news is it doesn't look like he's walking all that gingerly as he heads off. Tough to tell there, but they're going to take a longer look at him. He went down at the 30, so can Wake Forest stop Will Shipley and the Tigers for the first time today? He's back in it, running back for 3rd down and 5. Bunch to the left, single coverage to the right. Will they pick on Holmes again? DJ looked in that direction, pulls it down, has the first down. We think the officials running right along the 35-yard line. It's just enough.
DJ is an interesting runner to me. He's big and he's not shifty, but he makes guys miss. He has the ability with vision to see where defenders are and elude tacklers. He doesn't look fancy doing it, but he's an excellent runner because of his vision.
Said he changed his diet significantly and eliminated sweets. He's a different looking human being. He throws long and it's incomplete. Good coverage along the near sideline by J.J. Roberts on E.J. Williams.
Yeah, he just continued to ride Williams to the sideline. There was no place to put the football. And that's the way you want a cornerback to do. If that receiver's not going to fight to stay in the field of play, just go ahead and run him right out.
Will Shipley, the running back, on 2nd and 10. That's a backward pass, a lateral to Antonio Williams, chased down by Chase Jones, the junior from Warren, New Jersey, out of St. Peter's. Well, he talked to us yesterday. He said he lost 30 pounds, not just getting rid of sweets, portion control. Right. Said, I like to eat, don't we all? We know you do. Taste of the Town upcoming.
Well, he looks better and he's playing better, and he's got a better and healthier supporting cast around him, in front of him and on the outside too.
He had a knee problem last year. He got rid of the brace. He said that's helped. He had a thumb injury last year. He throws and it is broken up, intended for Spector. And double coverage there. J.J. Roberts there again for the Demon Deacon to force a punt for the first time today.
Really nice job. Watch Roberts. He's going to be in zone coverage, and he's going to peel off his man with eyes on the quarterback and get a collision at the football. That's a good job by the corner, reading the eyes of the quarterback and then helping out to the inside. Nice possession that time for J.J. Roberts.
Here's Aiden Swanson, their new punter, left-footed. Wobbly short kick, and a fair catch made by Taylor Marin after a 37-yard punt. College football primetime tonight right here on ABC. It's presented by Capital One. Coming your way from the Horseshoe at 7:30. Third-ranked Ohio State taking on Wisconsin of the Big Ten opener for both teams. They haven't met, in fact, since the conference championship game back in 2019. The Badgers are 2-1. They've lost 9 in a row to the Buckeyes.
Yeah, that's a tall order in Columbus, stopping that offense. Jim Leonard, one of the best defensive minds in college football. The Badgers always play great D, but it's a special offense.
On the run, tough run by Christian Turner.
This offense is so intriguing to me, Sean. Not only the slow mesh stuff for the passing game, but even in the running game. The back doesn't hit the hole right away. He kind of waits, he chops his feet, and they find holes as it opens. It's just a very unique system that Warren Ruggiero, Dave Clawson started. And it's given them a chance to be really competitive, but it's very unique.
Christian Turner again. Clausen and Ruggiero said, we're not going to run for a bunch of yards. We're not going to run for 150 yards. We just have to run well enough to make them respect it to set up our passing game. Hartman too high off the hands of Marin on 3rd down and 6. So here comes Mora. 4 possessions in the opening quarter for the Demon Deacons. This will be the 3rd punt. Will Taylor back for it. Sophomore, 2-sport athlete, outfielder in baseball. He was a draft pick of the Texas Rangers. What little breeze there is at the back of Moore. The temperature 69 degrees with very low humidity. Just a delightful day. That's a high booming punt. Taylor back to his 16, and it's beautifully covered by Wake Forest. Jalen Garnes first there.
We talk about this Wake Forest offense, a slow mesh, and when it works, you protect that area between the line of scrimmage and the quarterback. It's not a big distance. If you protect that area and keep it clean, they can hit you down the field. Same thing, even if you bring pressure, if the backs are alert and can help on the pressure and the quarterback moves a little bit, you influence linebackers, you influence safeties, you open things up for the pass game. Where it doesn't work is if the pocket collapses and that space gets swallowed up. And Clemson historically has done a great job of that. 7 sacks of Sam Hartman last year.
Shipley, a 1-yard gain, and that's all. And when we asked Dave Clausen yesterday to amplify your point, Todd, about the keys to the game, he said that's number 1. Yeah. Their defense can't blow up our offensive line.
And he recognizes this is an NFL caliber defensive front. And so far, I think they've done a nice job of holding their own. They've got to find a way to slow down this offense.
Number 1 running back Shipley carried on 1st down. Now Moffitt in the game. Moffitt in there in passing situations. He blocked. Uyunglele lost the football at the 25-yard line. And Clemson got it back. Evan Slocum knocked it out.
Again, the ability to make people miss, to see where tacklers are coming from, to put your foot in the ground and change directions. And then he's a big body. I mean, ultimately, he's a big body. Clearly a fumble. Nice job by Kobe Turner knocking it out.
That takes us to the end of the 1st quarter. Uyunglele, 7 out of 9 passing for both touchdowns. ESPN's presentation of college football on ABC will return after this message and a word from our ABC station. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, celebrating the challenge of road games everywhere. Are you ready for the road? Goodyear, more driven. Sean McDonough, Todd Blackledge, and Molly McGrath, Truist Field, home of the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. After 1 quarter, Clemson leads 14-7. They scored in their first 2 possessions, scoring in their opening possession for the 8th time in their last 9 games. Shipley stood up after a short gain on 1st and 10. It was Ryan Smenda making his 40th career start for that Demon Deacon defense.
Yeah, he missed the first game, had to sit out because of an ejection from a year ago in the bowl game. But since he's been back, a real leader, a fiery player. He's in there right now. The other linebacker in there, Dylan Hazen, also in the backfield, number 50.
On 2nd down, the catch made short of the 1st down. It's Bo Collins, about 2 yards shy of the line to gain. Molly. Bo Collins, we'll get to Molly in a moment. Bo Collins looks like an upper body injury somewhere around his right shoulder. High school teammate of DJ Uyunglele for 2 years at St. John Bosco, a powerhouse in the Los Angeles area.
Yeah, and he's really come on. become a consistent guy, has really got a great work ethic, a pro approach to his business. And another good throw by DJ. Just looks like at the end of the play, landing on that shoulder.
All right, Molly, now we'll bring you in.
Well, Sean, the injuries are piling up for Clemson's wide receivers as Kobe Pace was doubled over in pain after hobbling off the field. Athletic training staff heavily taped his left ankle, but when he ran on the sideline, he grimaced in pain. Now, Clemson doesn't reveal injury info, but Pace is definitely hurting.
He's still trying to get back in there. Been running, dancing on that sideline ever since he left. Here's a big 3rd down and 2. Uyunglele, after the fake, throws too high for Briningstool.
Sean, that's a really hard play for a right-handed quarterback to come rolling to his left with pursuit and try to get his shoulder square. The only way you can be accurate throwing as a right-hander rolling to your left, you have to get the shoulders all the way square. Hard to do that when you're under pressure. That time Ja'Cory Johns applying the pressure and the ball sailed on DJ.
There's Aiden Swanson taking over from Will Spires, who punted for 5 years for Clemson. Pressure on Swanson, low kick. Bothroyd put the pressure on. Taylor Marin down at the 31-yard line. Here's a look at the Taco Bell Liv Moss student section. Student sections across the country competing to be the Liv Moss student section of the year all season long.
Sean, we talked about what do they have to do, Wake Forest, to be in a position to win the game. Fast start, protect their quarterback, win the turnovers. No turnovers for either team yet. They have protected Sam Hartman. They did not get off to a fast start, but they've drawn themselves back into the ball game now in a one-possession game.
Reminiscent of last year when they struggled to start, and down goes Hartman. Back at the 20-yard line. Tyler Davis back in action with a big sack.
Yeah, Tyler Davis did not play last week. Watch this just quick inside move. He's going to beat the guard and just gets right to the quarterback. And when that pressure comes from the inside, it's very difficult. Sean McGinn, one of those veteran linemen.
They're going to keep launching bombs. That one's too deep. Over the head of A.T. Perry. Dave Clausen says this is the best and deepest receiver group. He said 1 through 5 at wide receiver. We have a lot of talent, and that is a big feature of their offense. They're going to throw a lot of deep balls.
They've got 3 really similar, big, rangy outside receivers, 2 really good slots, and a tight end who's a good receiver, number 85, Blake Whitehart.
Boyd in the left end of the defensive line for Clemson. Hartman running out of time, gets it off, incomplete. In the direction of Marin, KJ Henry, who grew up around this stadium. Todd mentioned it earlier. His dad, Keith, was an assistant coach here for a decade and is here wearing Clemson colors today. He was an assistant here under Jim Grobe. KJ used to come to practices. Said he had a yellow wig he used to wear to the games when he was a kid. We asked him if he had a picture of that, but I don't think he was trying that hard to find it.
No. Well, yeah, that possession right there, Sean, that was the best pressure that they've had on Sam Hartman. A couple plays really got after him.
3rd 3 and out for the Wake Forest offense. A punt on 4th and 17. Taylor, fair catch, 35-yard line. Well, last year, Clemson had 7 sacks when they were not ranked, and Wake Forest was up in Death Valley. Happy homecoming so far for Henry. Clemson leading 14-7. You're watching ESPN College Football on ABC, presented by Arby's.
It's Taco Bell.
We're back at Truist Field, Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Battle of 2 top 25 teams, both undefeated. 2 of the 4 ACC teams ranked in the top 25 this week. DJ Uyunglele and Clemson leading 14-7. Scored in their first 2 possessions and punted on the last 2. Maffa Some running room along the left side, out across the 40-yard line, and taken down by Ja'Cory Johns.
Pretty good looking third team tailback, 230 pounds, sophomore out of Loganville, Georgia. We talked to Brandon Street. He said, I'm confident in all three of our backs in all situations, first, second, or third down. They're all capable of doing everything we want.
4 receivers, 2 to each side. Uyunglele, single coverage too high. Over the head of E.J. Williams. Junior from Phoenix City, Alabama. Here's 3rd down and 5. They've had at least 1 first down, has Clemson on every possession. Feels like Dave Clawson's team has settled in, and the crowd trying to do its part.
The Brenningstool, the tight end, has been a weapon on 3rd down. This is him right here in the slot, now moving to the other side of the formation.
He has a touchdown catch. Uyunglele just 1 for his last 5 after a 7-for-7 start. Going deep and caught! Antonio Williams beat Isaiah Wingfield.
This is just beautiful throw and catch. He's running from the slot, so when you run a fade from the slot, you got all kind of room on the sideline. DJ knows that, puts it out over the outside shoulder, and the freshman receiver makes it a contested catch on his way out of bounds. Beautiful throw and catch for the first down.
39-yard play, their 4th of 30-plus. Williams out of Irmo, South Carolina. Top 100 player in the country nationally by just about all the rating services. Maffa wrapped up by A.J. Williams, a safety.
See, he's in the slot. He gets separation right in the line of scrimmage, and he got all that sideline for DJ to put the football. When you throw it over the outside shoulder like that, almost impossible to defend.
Antonio Williams. His first career touchdown last week in the 4th quarter against Louisiana Tech. He'll have many more. Davis Allen, the tight end, the motion man. High snap. DJ fielded it. Maffa didn't quite get to the first down marker. It'll be 3rd down and about a yard as we go under 11 minutes to go till halftime. Shipley on the sideline, just getting a rest, it seems. C.J. Spiller, the running backs coach, they made a number of changes on the offensive side of the ball. One of the great players in Clemson history. Maffa, the running back this time. And he got just enough, it seems, for the first down. Inside the 11-yard line, banged down by Dylan Hazen. Redshirt freshman out of the Woodlands, Texas. If you judge the matchup, Todd, just based on recruiting,
yeah,
it's not even a matchup. Since 2018, 66 Clemson recruits have been in the ESPN top 300. 0 for Dave Clawson's team. They are a 4-star recruit program, mostly 3 stars, and then they develop them. That was a very strange freeze by Uyunglele with nobody coming to help him execute the fake on his team, and Kobe Turner dropped him for a loss.
If I had to guess, I would guess that the running back is the one who made a mistake there, Phil Maffa, not the quarterback. But yeah, when you don't fake to anybody, it doesn't fool the defense. And kind of a giveaway play there on first down for Clemson.
Maybe DJ felt if he just stood there long enough, somebody was going to come help execute the fake.
Their version of the slow mesh.
Yes, extremely slow and invisible mesh. Better this time. Down to the 9 goes Uyunglele. Tackled by Kobe Turner. Transfer from Richmond, where he was 3 times All-Colonial Athletic Association. And Coach Lambert was raving about him yesterday.
It's a big play for Brad Lambert's defense right here. You got to hold Clemson to a field goal attempt. You can't give up another touchdown here at this point in the second quarter.
3rd down and goal from just inside the 10. Maffa remains the running back. Uiagalelei, pressure from behind, takes off running, and lunges for the pylon. I think he stepped out first at the 3, and he did.
Good effort, though, by Uiagalelei. Nothing open, good coverage in the end zone. And right there, yep, clearly stepped out with his left foot before he extended the football. The progressive pylon cam. Left foot out. Wow, that's a great shot. That ball was heading right for the pylon, but that left foot was clearly out.
Dabo Swinney still has the offense on the field, and he might let the clock run down and then take a timeout here. They gave him the 2-yard line instead of the 3. Originally, the official on the far sideline was standing on the 3-yard line.
I think he'll take the points. I mean, I think Dabo just let the clock down, but he's going to take points here. It was a good drive.
So here is B.T. Potter having an outstanding career and perfect this year. 4 for 4 in field goals, one of the strongest legs in the country. They were happy when he came back for his last year. They thought he might leave for the NFL. Drew Swinney is the holder, the coach's son. His brother Will was the holder for the previous 5 years.
I think they got another younger brother that's going to be a holder too, right?
Clay. That might be a long tradition at Clemson of Swinney holders. 6th straight year, Dabo's had one of his sons holding. Speaking of holding, Antonio Williams was being held, still took in that long pass to set up the field goal. Taste of the town when we come back. Time for Todd's Taste of the Town, brought to you by DoorDash.
Sweet Potatoes was opened in 2003 by partners Vivian Joyner and North Carolina. Bring it on home to me.
Yum, yum.
Yo, really good. Really good.
And here's another touchback. And here's Kevin Nagandi.
Sean, updating you, number 1, Georgia, 45-point favorites against Kent State. In some trouble. Ladd McConkey, he's had a long day. A fumble here. Here comes Kent State.
Yeah, good job by the corner, forcing the wide receiver back inside, forced a turnover.
Okay, what's going on with the defense here?
Defense just not getting the cornerback on the outside. Your help is coming from the inside, and Georgia uncharacteristically gives it up.
Okay, Brock Bowers' second touchdown.
It's great having a guy that's that fast, a tight end that can sprint to the edge and get the ball.
19-10, Sean. I am hungry after that video you showed us.
Sam Hartman after the fake, long pass, flag down. There'll be pass interference on Nate Wiggins.
That was great protection because Sam Hartman double clutched.
Defense, number 20, 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
The protection was so long, he was able to double clutch and then get the ball out there to Perry, and clearly another pass interference penalty on the Clemson secondary. And they'll keep attacking. If they can get protection, they're going to attack.
From the 40, Hartman fires, nice catch on a high throw. Keyshawn Williams got belted, but held on at the 47-yard line. Give us your quick summary of Sweet Potatoes. Looked great.
Yeah, it did. I mean, it was comfort food, soul food, fried chicken as good as I've ever had. And I didn't bring you any food, but I ordered you a cookbook. I ordered you one of their cookbooks because their restaurant is actually called Sweet Potatoes, Well Shut My Mouth. So I got you a Well Shut My Mouth cookbook, and you can
part of the segment
any way you want.
If I'm going to go along with this,
but you don't eat when I bring you food
I would
all the
have
time.
this week.
See, you offended me last week.
I did a little extra
by not
cardio
eating.
This week. Just to
if you promise you'll eat, I'll bring you something.
I will definitely eat it next week, depending on what it is.
Yeah,
high throw.
There we go.
Through the hands of Keyshawn Williams, and a flag down.
I wonder if they're going to look at a possible targeting or a late hit on this after the ball was clearly incomplete.
Personal foul with targeting. Defense, number 23. That play is under further review.
Well, Toriano Pride, Dabo Sweeney irate, and they're already thin in the secondary. This would be big. Ooh, if it stands, and we'll get Matt Austin's opinion when we come back. 17-7. Clemson has the lead. Well, now we're told we're going to skip the commercial because there's something going on with Aaron Judge. Kevin.
Thank you. Reminder, Aaron Judge, 1 home run shy of 61. A live look in to Yankee Stadium with Michael Kay on the call as we mentioned it. Stand by. Here we go. Aaron Judge, 1 home run shy of 61. Here's a live look into Yankee Stadium and Michael Kay on the call, part of the Yes Network, as Judge chases history.
So in the first 2 games against the Red Sox,
New York Yankees, the right fielder, number 99, Aaron Judge, number 99.
His family here, and for those tuning in from around the country, welcome to the Yes Network. You're watching Yes's coverage of the New York Yankees and Aaron Judge's pursuit of history. Pavetta is ready and deals. Foul back. The 0-1. Foul back, 0-2. So Pavetta going right at him.
Coney, I would have dropped money on this that he'd come in and see 2 fastballs right off the bat, but you're right, Pavetta right after Aaron Judge, trying to fool him here and actually throwing fastballs.
Strike 3, Judge down looking. He saw 3 straight feathers.
Okay, so Aaron Judge still sitting at home run number 60 right there. We will keep an eye on the action in the Bronx. His next at bat. We promise we will have live look-ins from the Bronx right now. Going to go to commercial break. Back to Clemson, Wake Forest after this.
We're celebrating 50 years of Popeye.
While we were away, they announced that they had rescinded the targeting. They did enforce the personal foul against Toriano Pride for a late hit. He's still in the game. Clemson has been penalized 7 times. Wake Forest down by 10. 1st and 10, and Hartman in trouble. And he'll go down for a loss back at the 35-yard line. Let's bring in Matt Austin. Matt, do you concur with the ruling?
I do. It was a good pickup of the flag for targeting because this hit, it's not a crowd of the helmet. He does go into the shoulder of the receiver, kind of a shoulder to shoulder. Face mask might have brushed his face mask, but again, that's not enough for targeting, so this was a good overturn.
Here's Christian Turner. Nothing doing there. They still cannot run the ball against Clemson. They had 36 yards last year on 31 carries. They've rushed for 4 yards today.
Well, you have to run a little bit to slow that pass rush down, but there are not a lot of effective holes there so far.
3rd and 13. They're on the edge of field goal range. Hartman got hit as he throws, and it is caught at the 5-yard line by an emerging star, Jamal Banks, the sophomore from Washington, D.C.
It's a safety blitz. Earlier, they got to the quarterback. That time, Hartman got rid of it before Venables could get there. And Banks comes down with another contested catch.
Good for 30 yards. They convert on 3rd down and long. The first 3rd down conversion. They've averaged more than 10 yards per 3rd down. Now back, shoulder throw, Banks again, touchdown, Demon Deacons with the freshman Pride in coverage.
Coming into the season, Jamal Banks was not a starter, but Dave Clawson insisted we have 3 starting outside receivers. He had a great camp. He's our best contested catch guy, and we're seeing glimpses of that tonight.
He had 6 catches last week, a career high against Liberty, and 2 touchdowns. 3 today, 2 more touchdowns. Wake Forest on the ropes early is now within 3 after the extra point by Matthew Dennis.
Banks is 6'4", 208. He's up at the top of the screen in single coverage against a smaller defensive back, and Hartman keeps it in play and puts it in a position where he can use that big body. Perfect throw to the back shoulder. And again, freshman Toriano Pride in coverage, in good position, but just a great athletic play by Jamal Banks as we see the replay again from the Progressive Pylon Cam. Perfect throw and catch.
And that gets Hartman over 10,000 career passing yards. He's the 9th player in conference history to do it. All-time leading passer here at Wake Forest. As a starter in his true freshman season of 2018. Ivan Moore will kick off. Will Shipley back deep. 17-14 Clemson. It's a high, short kick into the wind. They didn't try to kick it deep.
They didn't want to kick it to Shipley.
Drew Sweeney brought the kickoff back. Just shy of the 30-yard line. Here's the Athletic trivia question. This is the 88th meeting all time. The last time they met as ranked opponents, when both were ranked, was in 1950. And the only other time was 1948. You want to know who were the head coaches? Rivalry dominated by Clemson. They're meeting for the 70th year in a row. Good run after the catch. Do you want to hazard a guess?
Frank Howard, probably, right? P-head. Would that be the other guy?
Well, let's see. Yeah, there it is. Frank Howard and P-head Walker. P-head's the only coach in history who won as many as 4 games against Clemson without a loss in Death Valley. His teams went 4-0. Wow. P-head admitted that back there in the 40s during that run, Howard didn't have his full team. They were depleted by the war years. 2 legendary coaches. Will Shipley, the ball carrier. Walker 7-4 at Wake against Howard, including a 6-game winning streak. They were great pals. One year, when Walker brought Wake Forest over to Clemson, Howard found a buddy of his who was a highway patrolman. He said, when the bus pulls up, grab P-head and tell him he resembles a fugitive. And they did it.
Yeah.
They handcuffed him against the telephone pole when he got off the bus. They asked one of Walker's players to vouch for him, and he said, I've never seen that man in my life. They had some chuckles. They let P-head in on joke. They were very close friends. Will Shipley, the ball carrier, for a first down.
And when Shipley runs the football, and Wake Forest, other than the first play of the game, has done a pretty good job of containing him, but he just gives you that sense every time he touches it. If he gets to the next level of your defense, he could take that all the way to the goal line. He's that kind of a running back, that kind of explosion.
Kobe Pace back in at running back as he was hobbled earlier. 1st and 10, down to 4 minutes to go in the half. Pace tackled by Dion Bergen. Here's Molly.
Well, DJ Uyunglele's favorite target, Bo Collins, was in visible pain on the sideline. Told athletic training staff, this really stings. Headed back into the tent for the 2nd time, where they took his pads off while working on his upper body, massaged the right side of his shoulder and neck. No word on his status, but Collins is definitely dealing with pain, Sean.
Well, we saw Ngata a little shaken up earlier in the ball game. Again, the wide receivers in the offensive line got decimated a year ago for this Clemson offense.
And DJ took the brunt of the blame. He's on target again to Ngata. Dabo Sweeney said, you know, we were a mess all over the offense, as you said, the injuries, particularly in the offensive line. They had 7 different offensive line combinations start last year. Same group didn't start more than 3 times together. You mentioned it. I mentioned as well at the top of the telecast. This same 5, McFadden, Tate, Putnam, Parks, and Miller from left to right have started all 4 games.
And that is so important for your continuity.
Here's 3rd down and 4. Can Wake come up with another stop? Not this time. Good catch at the 45-yard line by Antonio Williams.
You see the confidence that DJ has in that young receiver, Williams. He's gone to him in some critical 3rd down situations. Show some courage that time running that inside breaking route.
2.5 to go. Each team with all 3 timeouts. And very little there for Shipley as he ducked his head. Chase Jones made the tackle.
This is an important part of the game for both teams. Remember, Clemson won the toss and deferred. They've got the ball here now as we approach 2 minutes, and they'll get the ball to start the 3rd quarter. So a chance to potentially score twice for Clemson.
On 2nd and 9, short set, batted pass, and it falls incomplete.
And they have not been able to get to DJ and knock him down, but they're able this time to just keep eyes on the quarterback, and when he releases it, get that hand up in the air and knock it away.
Kendron Wayman back up defensive end. Well, the last time they played here, a couple of years ago, there were only 68 fans in attendance.
Yeah, we were here too, right?
We were. Different story here today, and a loud crowd supporting the Demon Deacons. Uyunglele right on target again. DJ Williams, and they convert on 3rd down.
Well, they have been good on 3rd down. That was an area that they felt they really needed to get better. This is a long throw. This shows you the arm strength of Uyunglele all the way to the left sideline and right on target.
J.J. Robertson coverage. Should mention that Wake Forest, if you tuned in late, playing without their starting
Please reset
corner,
the game
Kalen
clock
Carson.
to 1 minute 42 seconds. 1:42.
Well, we spoke with Brad Lambert, the defensive coordinator, yesterday about Carson, and he acknowledged that he wasn't going to play with a hamstring injury. Lambert visibly winced.
Yes, he did.
1 minute 42 seconds.
I mean, he's just a youngster. He's just a sophomore, but he started last year as a freshman and played. There's Brad Lambert.
Doesn't seem a lot happier right now. His 2nd tour here in Wake Forest. Was here for a decade with Jim Grobe. Very happy to come back. His family loved it here. One time the head coach at Charlotte helped the 49ers start their program. Under duress immediately, Uyunglele throws it away. He was pursued by Kobe Turner and Kevin Pointer.
Well, that's the first time that they were really able to get to the quarterback and knock him down. Good quick pressure initially by Pointer. And then you see Kobe Turner there to finish it off. But that's what Wake Forest needs. They need to get more pressure on DJ Uyunglele, especially on 3rd down.
You mentioned earlier, under Lambert, they want to be more of an attacking defense. Let their defensive linemen cut loose rather than just try to stay in gaps and hold up blockers. Here's Davis Allen, lots of running room. He goes up and over and has the 1st down of the 19. Hit by Chalon Garnes. I guess if you're tight end, you can't leap over somebody. You're not an athlete in today's college football.
Well, he does, and somehow he got lost by the Wake Forest coverage. He came in motion and slipped right out into the flat, and he was uncovered. It's going 2nd down for the 1st down conversion.
And 312 yards of offense in the half. Big sequence here. Could Wake Forest hold it to a field goal attempt? On the slant, pass deflected. Ryan Smenda applying pressure.
Yeah, good pressure by Smenda coming on the inside blitz. DJ threw that ball before he wanted to. Did a nice job just getting rid of it. but he was not able to set his feet and make an accurate throw. He had the coverage he wanted, but he couldn't get the ball off.
Thirteenth play of the drive. 1:04 to go in the half. Clemson led 14-0, now up by 3. Pressure right up the middle. It looked like he was going to try to go in that direction on a quarterback draw. And Chase Jones was right in the path. And they drop it for a loss back to the 20.
Yeah, when they put the back in motion, it brought the linebacker out, but the other linebacker was blitzing Chase Jones, and that's what disrupted the timing. It was a quarterback draw, but the blitz by the linebacker Jones really disrupted the play.
They're 3 out of 3 on third down on this drive. And 8 for 11 in the first half. Final 30 seconds. Uyunglele, miscommunication with his receiver. And Gata pulled up inside the 10-yard line. And DJ threw it in the end zone. So here comes the field goal team. You'd have to think, Todd, that classifies as a win for the Deacon defense.
Absolutely. Even though it was a 13-play drive and you're not going to get the ball back with very much time, to hold them to a field goal attempt is definitely a win because it's still a one-possession game at that point.
Potter 5 for 5 for the season after his 24-yarder earlier in this half. This one's from 38. And good. With 14 seconds to go. Last 2 red zone trips for Clemson and DJ Uyunglele. They settle for 2 field goals. He's thrown for 192 in the half.
Lead highlights coming your way at the break. Sean?
All right, Kevin. D.T. Potter's kickoff and touchback, the 300th of his career. That's most in college football since 2009. Dave Clawson said, we're not even going to work on our kickoff return this week because we're not going to get a chance to return it. They have had a couple come down near the goal line, have opted not to run them back.
Well, if you're Dave Clawson, you've got to be pleased. The game did not start exactly the way you wanted it.
You launch one here? Or?
No, I think you run it.
I'd like to launch it. That's going to help their rushing total. They had 4 yards rushing for the half. That one got 6. And they're going to let the half end.
It's 20-14. Last year it was 17-3 at halftime, and then 2 turnovers in the third quarter late or deep in their own territory really turned the game. Right now, no turnovers in the game for either team and a 1-score ball game.
20-14 at the half. We'll send you to the studio for the State Farm halftime report after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
Better ingredients, better.
This is the ACC on ESPN. Welcome back to ESPN's College Football on ABC, presented by Arby's. Truist Field, Winston-Salem, North Carolina, 2 undefeated teams, an important game in the ACC. Clemson raced off to a 14-0 lead. Their lead now 20-14 as we get ready for the second half. Sean McDonough and Todd Blackledge. We talked to Brandon Streeter, the new offensive coordinator for Clemson, during the week. He said the 2 priorities for improvement this season, red zone and third down, they've been excellent in both.
Yeah, 3 for 3 in the red zone, although 2 times they had to settle for field goals, but that's every possession so far this season. Then on third down, 8 for 12 today, and a couple of them some long yardage situations. DJ Uyunglele, very accurate, knowing where he wanted to go with the football. For Wake Forest, we talked about the slow mesh offense. If they can protect the quarterback, they've got favorable matchups on the back end against this Clemson defense. Good protection. Hartman goes to Banks. They connected 3 times in the first half, 2 times for touchdowns.
309 total yards for Clemson, including that 8 out of 12 on third down. More of the same for Wake against Clemson. They just can't run the ball at all. Just 10 yards rushing on 11 carries. Ivan Moore kicks off. Clemson gets the ball first to start the second half. Will Shipley's going to try it from the 1. He got hit hard as he was airborne down at the 25-yard line. And Shipley a little slow to get up, but he's limping off now, and here's Molly.
Well, Sean, Wake Forest head coach Dave Clawson said this wasn't the fast start we wanted, but we held up on the opening punch. In the second quarter, we settled in. But our issue in the first half, we had 129 yards of offense, but 85 of those were in penalties from Clemson PI calls. And without those pass interferences, we would have had some big explosive plays. He said this is a one-score game against the number 5 team in the country. I like our chances.
Trying to beat Clemson for the first time in his 9 seasons as head coach. He's 0-8. Quick slant, and Gata almost took it to the house. If Gavin Holmes did make an excellent tackle, he was gone. The play goes to the 44.
Very interesting. I haven't seen that kind of a play-action pass out of Clemson for a while. DJ made the fake and just stayed right in that same position and delivered a strike for the first down. Well-designed play.
Uiagalelei completed his first 7. Now 8 for 16. Saints has a nice pocket, fires another deep ball, and it's batted down. Intended for Antonio Williams, well covered again by Gavin Holmes.
Ball was a little bit high, sailed a little bit on DJ. Because it was high, that enabled Gavin Holmes to come over the top and knock it away. Aggressive start here in the third quarter for Clemson.
On the run, Phil Maffa, tackled by Chase Jones. Third down and 7. A minute into the third quarter. The sun coming out now here in Winston-Salem on a mostly cloudy day. They're 8 for 12 on third down. Just a 4-man rush, but they force Uiagalelei back, and he throws it away. Pressured by Rondell Bothroyd, the redshirt junior from Manchester, Connecticut. Here's Kevin Nagandi.
Judge, 1 home run shy of 61. We're getting set for a live look into Yankee Stadium. Right now, Red Sox up 3-2, bottom of the third, and Judge leading off in the inning. He's 0 for 1 so far in this game. Michael Kay, David Cohn, Paul O'Neill on the call as we go live to the Bronx as Aaron Judge chases history.
There's the right fielder, number 99, Aaron Judge.
For those tuning in from around the country, welcome to the Yes Network, the #1 regional sports network in the country. And you're watching Yes's coverage of the New York Yankees as Aaron Judge will lead off in the bottom of the third. Foul back. Now the fastball. The Judge family. They've been here for the ride. The 0-1. 1-1. The Maris family has been here as well. They also said that if it doesn't happen here, they might go to Toronto. Judge with 60 home runs. And the 1-1. 1-2.
This has been amazing so far. The number of fastballs that Pivetta has gone at Judge. Another good one right there. Good pitch to hit, just fouled off.
Pivetta deals the 1-2. Finally goes with the breaking ball. The way the crowd gets so silent right before the pitch is being delivered. There's a crescendo because he's Judge. All rise when he comes to the plate, but then when the pitch is about to be delivered, this. High fly ball, center field. Almonte is there, and he puts it away for the first out.
Okay, so right now he's 0 for 2, and we promise his third at-bat, we will take you there live. Reminding you, we've got Sunday Night Baseball. We have Aaron Judge and the Red Sox coming your way, as well as the K-Rod broadcast on ESPN2. Back to Sean as Wake Forest takes the lead.
Yeah, Kevin, in the game the people were tuning in to watch, Wake Forest has taken the lead on a touchdown pass to Donovan Green. Nifty drive. They had 3 long plays of 20 yards plus.
It starts with protection. Watch the back pick up the blitz. Hartman steps up and working on another freshman cornerback. That's Donovan Mitchell beating Jaden Lucas. And Wake Forest takes the lead.
Well, Clemson had the longest streak without trailing that was alive in college football. They had not trailed at any time in their last 6 games. Never trailed in the last 3 last year, or the first 3 this season. Led 14-0 today. But they're down 21-20 now as Drew Sweeney returns the short kickoff and gets stopped at the 19-yard line. Impressive drive while we were away watching Aaron Judge, Todd.
Yeah, it started with Sam Hartman. Nothing down the field. He finds a little running lane and scoots away for a gain of 22 yards or 25 yards. They got a sack. He doesn't panic. He comes back. The swing pass to Ellison picks up 22. And then right after that, good protection, help from the back. Ellison picking up the blitz. One-on-one coverage against a freshman cornerback. And all of a sudden, Wake Forest, early in the third quarter, takes a lead in the game.
Eldrick Robinson is the injured player. And we'll step aside with 12:09 to go in the third quarter here in Winston-Salem. Back in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, less than 3 minutes gone by, second half. Wake on the ropes early, down 14-0, has rallied for a 1-point lead against Clemson. Play the Tigers every year. They haven't beaten them since 2008. Will Shipley on first down, stopped immediately by Chase Jones. And we just mentioned first time Clemson has trailed after 6 straight games without trailing. They've won 62 in a row when leading at halftime. The last loss when leading at the half, and there's a long way to go in this one, was November 12, 2016. They lost at home to Pittsburgh. And that was also the last home loss for Clemson. Uiagalelei rumbles for a couple. Deshane Davis there.
There's a different pep in the step of this Wake Forest defense, too. You know, Molly, when she talked to Dave Claus, he said, we settled down in the second quarter. The other thing they did, they started to find ways to get pressure on DJ Uiagalelei. They did it in the second quarter, and so far to start this third quarter, they've done the same. Big third down.
3 receivers to the right. Uiagalelei hit as he throws, and it's off the hand of his intended receiver and incomplete. Trying to get it to Adam Randall. Big target at 6'2", 230 was just a little too high.
That's the best pass rusher, and that's a true freshman right tackle. They run a little game on the right tackle in the guard, and Bothroyd gets there and is able to get there before DJ wanted to get rid of the football. Nice little stunt on the side of the freshman right tackle, and they get the stop on third down.
The first 3 and out. The last punt by Aiden Swanson was a 21-yard shank. First-year punter. This is a low line drive, very returnable on a bounce. Taylor Marin into Clemson territory to the 44. He's tackled by Wade Woodaz. There is a flag down far side of the field along the numbers. 36-yard punt, 11-yard return.
So far in the game, penalty-wise, 7 for 85 yards for Clemson. Only 1 penalty for 15 yards against Wake Forest to this point.
7 penalties and 85 penalty yards are the most in a game this season for Clemson. They did it in a half.
During the return, personal foul, face mask, receiving team number 8, 15-yard penalty. First down, Wake Forest.
Isaiah Wingfield. It's a big call. As Todd said, just the second penalty against Dave Clawson's team today. Back in 8 seconds after a look from Ram Trucks.
Ram Trucks, built to serve.
I have a Dodge Ram. I love my Ram truck.
You do?
I do.
Now, when I said a lot of nice things about Cheez-Its, which I believe in all my heart, we both got, I don't know why you got it, but we both got a nice care package from Cheez-It. Are you hoping for a new Ram truck?
Or, you know, a cab cover or something maybe. Yeah. New wheels.
Wow, this ball is going all the way back to the 30. They were going to have it inside the 45-yard line.
Yeah, that's a big turnaround. I mean, they have momentum. They got the stop. They would have been deep already into Clemson territory. Instead, now back at the 30-yard line.
So here's Hartman. And on first down, it's Christian Turner for nothing. Of course, their longest run of the day was by Hartman on the last drive when he pulled it down and took off running. He ran for 25 yards to start the drive on the last series. They had 10 yards rushing all day before that scramble. Tyler Venables made the tackle. Son of now the Oklahoma coach, Brent Venables, was able to watch them play as a fan against Louisiana Tech last weekend. Nice catch by Banks and a first down.
Again, the slow mesh affects linebackers' eyes. They've got to respect the run. Watch the linebackers, the voided area, and Hartman gets it right in there to the opening.
Hartman steps up in the pocket, throws, and it's caught. Looked like enough for the first down with the forward progress by A.T. Perry. Driven back by Nate Wiggins, and they are going to give him just inside the 48 of the Tigers for another first down. Boy, the difference, we talked about Uyunglele slimming down this year. We were here for one of Sam Hartman's first games in 2018 when he was a true freshman. He was at the most 190. He runs toward the line and lobs it up. There's a flag down as A.T. Perry made the tackle. Several flags down. 23-yard pass play if it stands. And Nate Wiggins thinks it's going against him. He was close enough to hear the conversation.
Holding defense, number 21. That penalty's declined. Results of the play, first down.
I'll tell you who's doing a really good job in this Wake Forest offense. The two backs now. They're trying to bring pressure. These backs have got to stop the safety or the linebacker blitz. Beautiful job by Turner. Hartman's able to step up a little bit, and he gets the one-on-one coverage. The holding is on Nate Wiggins on the outside. Didn't matter. Still a beautiful throw by Hartman.
It was completed now 8 in a row as that one's caught. Dancing around, Keyshawn Williams. Hartman throws a block for him. There are flags down in the middle of the field. Hartman lost his helmet. Dave Clawson was talking about the development of Hartman over the years, not just stronger, which is the point I was going to make a moment ago. He's added about 25 pounds in the weight room. But he's become much more of a leader, and the players notice when a guy with surgery to remove a blood clot.
Personal foul, illegal blindside block, offense, number 59, 15-yard penalty, first down.
In August is out there blocking ahead of the play. He's done that several times this year.
Yeah, and he's out and leading on this play. You know, this is a really tough penalty. I understand it's the right call, but this ball completely reversed field. Nobody designed the play this way, and the offensive guard, he's just trying to peel somebody off. He gets called for the illegal block.
Because he lost the helmet, here's Mitch Griffiths in for probably one snap. He started their opener against VMI, led them to victory. He's going to sling it deep like everybody else. And there's a flag. A.T. Perry just got ripped down.
By the face mask, I think.
Yes, indeed. It looked that way from here by Nate Wiggins.
And
who's under duress.
Sean, if Griffiths throws this ball more to the middle, it's an easy touchdown. The ball sailed behind the intended receiver. And when A.T. Perry stopped to go back for the ball, that's where the penalty occurred. Watch, he's got single coverage. If he throws that ball more towards the goalpost, it's a touchdown.
Well, he didn't exactly get a lot of time to warm up.
You're right. But I mean, he's beat right now. Throw that ball to the goalpost, it's a touchdown in one play. Instead, pass interference and another first down.
Fourth pass interference against Clemson of their 8 penalties. Hartman back in. That slow mesh, and he sends Christian Turner on his way.
See, that's a great run in this offense, right? And against a defense like this, you're not running it well, but runs like that make Clemson play honest. We talked to Wayne Ruggiero. We said, do you have a goal for running? He says, no goals. Just win. Whatever we have to do to win the football game, we're going to do.
Uh-oh. Trouble on that. Hand off and staying on his feet, lunging forward. Make it a gain of 1. Christian Turner.
See, the reason that Wake Forest is getting so much man coverage is because they're trying to find ways to pressure Sam Hartman. When you bring extra bodies in the rush, you have to play man, and Wake Forest is attacking.
1 third down conversion. This is much shorter. Back shoulder throw and a touchdown. Blake Whiteheart, the ball came out, but 3 officials had already signaled a touchdown.
How many times do you see them throw a back shoulder to a tight end? But Wake Forest practices this all the time. Does he secure the ball all the way to the ground? I think he did. The ball came out late. Catches it to the ground, and then after he rolls, the ball comes out. What a throw and catch by design against good coverage.
And now it's Wake Forest with an 8-point lead. After the extra point by Matthew Dennis. Sam Hartman. What a courageous season he's having.
Clemson is trying to bring pressure, trying to bring extra bodies. That leaves man coverage in the back end against the wideouts and against the tight end. He's working on Simpson. Sam Hartman, what a throw.
Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, road tested and game ready. Are you ready for the road? Goodyear more driven. Ivan Moore to kick off. Through his field, rollicking now. That little hooch kickoff has worked pretty well. And this time, Drew Sweeney calls for a fair catch. Well, the last 3 times, Todd, they've tried to score. They've scored a touchdown. Doesn't include the end of the half when they ran one play and took it in.
Now, we talked about if you give Sam Hartman time, these receivers are going to have good matchups one-on-one. And that has really paid off. Sam Hartman has been accurate. He's been courageous. The backs have picked up blitzes. Sam Hartman has thrown 4 touchdown passes. You know what? The other side of that, the complementary side of the Wake Forest defense, the last 2 possessions, Clemson had the ball. Long drives had to settle for field goals both times.
4 touchdown passes for Hartman is 1 shy of his career high. Printing stool to catch. He threw 5 last year in that wild game up at North Carolina. He's the 9th player in ACC history to be responsible for 100 touchdowns. 83 of them now passing. He's also rushed for 17. 4 touchdown drives, all of 68 yards or longer. Will Shipley stacked up 2 yards short of the first down by Ja'Cory Johns.
I think Brandon Streeter's going to need to have his quarterback run the football a little bit more here in the second half. They've kind of stopped at the line. They're doing a good job against Will Shipley. Maybe not on this third down play, but some more designed runs for DJ Uiagalelei to get a little bit outside.
Where they went up and down the field on their first 2 possessions to score touchdowns. They've punted on their last 2 possessions, trying to avoid another 3-and-out. There's that run Todd was calling for. Great call by Blackledge and Streeter. And a first down into Wake territory to the 44-yard line.
Well, again, there's just so much attention being paid to Shipley inside. Get your quarterback out a little bit. Nice job reading it. They go with Shipley to take the pitch away. And again, he's a big body who is a good runner. He's not a super shifty runner, but he's a very, very effective runner. And that was a big third down conversion.
Gavin Holmes, starting cornerback, is injured. As we mentioned earlier, they're already playing without Kalen Carson, a starting corner, with a hamstring injury. Liberty came after Holmes last year. Clemson early last week. Clemson early today, but he's won his share of the battles as well. This season, All-State will celebrate every field goal and extra point made by participating universities. They'll make a donation to the university's scholarship fund. Thank you, All-State.
And Sean, if I'm Brandon Streeter right now, you already mentioned Carson did not play at all in the game. Gavin Holmes, their best corner on the field, is not going to be on the field at least for one play, if not more. You've had time to be on the sideline to talk about this. I wouldn't be surprised to see them take a deep shot towards the end zone right here on first down. You just converted. You're going to have a new corner in the game. Play action, good protection, and take a shot for a touchdown.
There's the college football rankings entering today, brought to you by Verbo. Clemson number 5. Alabama and Ohio State in action tonight. Georgia ahead of Kent State. Brent Venables, former Clemson defensive coordinator, has Oklahoma undefeated. The national championship trophy is here. Presented by Dr. Pepper. Of course, Clemson's won 2 of those under Dabo Swinney, 2016 and 18. His team down by 8, but on the move with the sun shining brightly here. J.J. Roberts back in. He plays a lot in a cornerback rotation.
Isaiah Wingfield has moved from safety to corner.
Shipley tackled in the open field, but looks like another first down. Jamal Martin made the tackle, transfer from California of Pennsylvania.
Playing with a big club on his hand too. Tough to grab a hold of anything, but did a nice job getting Shipley to the ground. Shipley having trouble finding running room on the inside. Good idea. Get them the ball on the perimeter. Just throw it to him and give him some space. Let him use his skill set.
Uiagalelei for the end zone. Incomplete. Looking for Joseph Ngata. Covered by Isaiah Wingfield.
Isaiah Wingfield is the starting nickel in the ball game. With the injury to Gavin Holmes, they moved him outside to corner, and he's in good position. He had eyes on the quarterback the whole way and is able to slip inside and knock the ball away.
Wingfield's a transfer from Harvard, where he was first team All-Ivy last year. Of course, lost the whole season in 2020 when the Ivy League canceled play. Will Shipley, the running back, on 2nd and 10.
Give it to him again.
He's open. Uiagalelei running out of time. Back dangerously across the middle and batted down. Lucky to get away with that. Flipped it in the general direction of Will Shipley, and it was Jamal Martin with that club able to bat it down.
Yeah, right now, as you see Shipley go in motion, give him the football right here. Throw him the ball quickly and let him try to make somebody miss. DJ held on to it, tried to extend the play, and made kind of an ill-advised throw back towards the middle of the field.
So 3rd down and 10. Told Gavin Holmes just has a cramp. They expect him back in the secondary for the Demon Deacons. Uyunglele, jump ball, caught. Bo Collins the catch. Back in action after that injury described on their bench to something that stung. Looked like he kind of shoved down the coverage man to make the catch. J.J. Roberts. Shipley on 1st and goal from the 5. Got 1.
Again, this is the area where I think you've got quarterback run. You really sell that fake to Shipley inside. You got the big body quarterback. Gavin Holmes back in the ball game now. Mel Martin out of the game.
Line of scrimmage is the 3, 2nd and goal. Uyunglele kept it. Davis Allen has the touchdown.
Beautiful throw by DJ Uyunglele. You throw this ball high. Here's Davis. He's just going to go. He's working against the safety, Mustafa. But you throw this ball high enough, and your tight end who bodies him up, he's the only guy who can make that play. Perfect throw, nice touch by DJ for the touchdown. Clemson lining up to go for 2.
And tie it. Sometimes coaches will wait till the 4th quarter to do that. But not Dabo Swinney. 4.5 minutes to go. They put the ball on the left hash mark. And now a timeout called by Clemson.
First charge timeout. Clemson. 30 seconds.
Well, do you like the decision here? It seems, of course, Dabo Swinney could change his mind during this timeout, but do you like the decision to go for 2 in the tie?
Yeah, I don't mind at this point. I think if you do this in the first half, it's chasing points. I don't think it makes a lot of sense. Right now, I think it's fine. Even if you miss, you still could take the lead with a field goal. So you feel like you have momentum. That was a nice drive, a nice response. Yeah, I'm okay with this.
Have to give Wake Forest a lot of credit for what they did early in the game, coming back from that 14-0 deficit. This is a pretty nice response by DJ Uyunglele on this drive.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, Wake Forest lost a couple players in that possession. Clemson took advantage of it. They ran the football with the quarterback on a big 3rd down play, and then DJ hit a couple of nice throws. So you're right, great response. You feel like you got some momentum. Try to get 2 more and tie it up.
We'll continue to monitor the Clemson-Wake Forest game in a 2-box. That's on the left side and the right side. Aaron Judge, 1 home run shy of 61. A live look into Yankee Stadium. Let's go there with Michael Kay, David Cohn, Paul O'Neill on the call.
Around the country, welcome to the YES Network, the #1 regional sports network in the country. And you are watching YES's coverage of the New York Yankees and Aaron Judge. Judge 0 for 2, runner on first. Sitting at 60 home runs. Another fastball, 1-0. They put new baseballs into play when Judge comes up, specially marked, so they can identify the ball if and when it goes into the stands. Crowd standing here at the stadium and holding its breath. 1-0. There was a curve, 2-0.
Well, Coney, here's a count where he can challenge him. I mean, this is a big pitch right here for Pivetta. You've shown fastball. Now in a fastball count, will you challenge Aaron Judge?
And the 2-0. There's a strike. That was a slider. It's the second baseball that Pivetta has thrown away. Didn't like the feel. No one wants to be sitting when this ball lands. They want to be able to move. Now the silence before the pitch. The 2-1. 2-2. Judge has had, as Aaron Boone has said often, a season for the ages. Just a magical 2022. Flirting with a triple crown. Flirting with the American League single season home run record. And the 2-2. 3-2.
Kind of the same situation, Coney. It was 2-0. He went to the slider. Now it's 3-2. Will he challenge it?
And the 3-2 pitch. Foul back to the screen. He did challenge him.
He did, and he challenged him outside the strike zone. Aaron Judge just underneath. That ball very hard with that slide uppercut to really square up, but a good swing.
It's a pitch that Aaron Judge has gotten to a lot this year as opposed to years past as he continues to evolve as a great hitter, not just a great slugger.
Runner on first, nobody out. 3-2 count on Judge. And Pivetta deals. Way outside, he walked him.
So 0 for 2 and a walk right there, and we promise you we'll get back to the Bronx the next time Aaron Judge is at the plate. Also, ESPN Sunday Night Baseball has the Yankees-Red Sox tomorrow night. Back to a good one in Winston-Salem. Sean?
And a great play, Kevin, by DJ Uyunglele on the two-point try. They seemingly had him wrapped up to take him down and stop the play, and on one leg he threw to Bo Collins to tie it. Meanwhile, Wake Forest is on the move again against the Clemson defense that suddenly can't stop them. There's been another pass interference play. Here's the two-point play. Remarkable, Todd.
Yeah, just 6'4", 235, just standing his ground on one leg. Shows you the arm strength. Flicks it to the back of the end zone to his former high school teammate. And we got a tie ball game, and Wake Forest on the move again impressively.
And they convert on 3rd and short. Maybe, yes, it seems, on the lunge by Justice Ellison. Looked like they had him bottled up. Brian Brzee made the tackle for Clemson, but not before Wake Forest got the first down.
Yeah, it was a lunge and it was a push from a couple of his linemen that got him across the mark. Not a lot of running yards, but some effective runs here in the second half for Wake Forest.
Up to 43 yards rushing for the game, 25 by Hartman on one play, who's running for his life again. Gets belted as he throws, and it's incomplete. Intended for Jamal Banks. Ruko Row delivered the hit.
Yeah, gets up, kind of squeezing his right hand a little bit. Took a hard shot from Row. Trying to extend the play. Off coverage right now by Clemson. They've gotten burnt on defensive pass interferences and on the deep plays. Look, off coverage, both corners playing more zone.
It's actually Keith McGuire, 30, not 33, who delivered the hit. Ellison runs, weaving through the traffic. He got 11 and a first down.
See, this is about numbers. If you're trying to defend the pass, you run the football. The numbers say run, and Wake Forest with one of their best runs of the ball game because Clemson is afraid of the passing game of Sam Hartman.
Wake Forest marching up and down the field. Ellison after the slow mesh to the 25-yard line. We're under 2 minutes to go in the third quarter.
I thought it was interesting. Warren Ruggiero told us yesterday, we're an attacking offense. We're aggressive. We know we're going to get sacked because we're going to take some shots down the field. We're going to hold the ball, but our good plays outweigh our bad plays, and that's been the case today.
There's another long throw,
corner of the end zone, touchdown. Second of the day for Donovan Green. Officials conferring now to make sure he was in. Nate Wiggins has had a tough quarter. Green missed all of last year due to injury. These are his first touchdown grabs since 2020.
Perfect placement, the foot down, the ball secured. That's a touchdown. You can't put the ball in a better place. He's got enough separation. He high points it. Wiggins does not know where the football is. Progressive pylon can shows the right foot down, and the ball caught.
And back and forth they go. The latest response by the Demon Deacons. Matthew Dennis, the extra point. 4 touchdowns in their last 4 possessions in which they were trying to score. A dandy in the ACC, and Sam Hartman continues to make history. 5 touchdown throws, matching his career high. Second time he's done it. Did it at North Carolina last season. And they weren't lying about their receiver corps.
Oh boy, they're good.
Big reason they can launch it up is they have 5 guys who can go up and get it. 2 touchdown catches today for Donovan Green. Here's that pooch kick again.
You know, Sean, there was evidence of some problems with that secondary last week. They gave up 7 passes of 20 yards or more to Louisiana Tech.
If they're not what they've been in the back end on defense, Clemson, a lot of losses on the roster. Here's the last drive by Clemson that tied the game. Allen, the catch. Then they went for 2, and Uiagalelei might have lost 30 pounds, but he's still plenty big enough, strong enough, great enough balance to stay on one leg and fire to Bo Collins. That tied it. They're down by 7 now. And after the play fade, DJ under duress throws incomplete for Brandon Spector. Rondell Bothroyd had the immediate pressure. He's one of the best in the ACC. He had 16.5 tackles for loss last year, 3rd in the conference, including 2 at Clemson in their loss.
Last year, Clemson ran for 332 yards against Wake Forest's defense. New defensive staff, 2 holdovers from the old staff, new coordinator in Brad Lambert, a little more aggressive approach. 148 yards for Clemson rushing today. That's still good yardage, but nothing like 332.
Maffa stopped after a 1-yard gain by Jalen Hudson. Final 40 seconds of the 3rd quarter. Lots of time for Uiagalelei. Launches it up for and got him!
Wow.
And he got it! With J.J. Roberts in coverage. One bomb after another. Many completed, some pass interference. That one good for 46.
You know, J.J. Roberts is in good position, and he sees the ball. He knows that it's coming, but he just mistimes his jump. He's a little bit slow getting off the ground, and Goddard goes up quickly and wins the battle. Those 50-50 balls won by the offense primarily today.
That's the end of a wild 3rd quarter. ESPN's presentation of college football on ABC will return after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
Now a back and forth game in Winston-Salem, and I'm told Wake Forest safety Malik Mustafa has a separated right shoulder. He was brought into the locker room for an injection and will try to play, but he is still in the locker room during this crucial Clemson drive, Sean.
Yeah. Evan Slocum, who's listed as the number 3 safety, is in for his place, number 14. So we talked about the injuries for the Clemson secondary, now piling up a little bit for Wake Forest as well.
I should mention that shot you saw Mustafa was on tape. He is in the locker room. Uyunglele, another clean pocket, another completion. Brenningstool tackled at the 20, short of the first down. But stopped by Isaiah Wingfield.
We are seeing some outstanding quarterback play today on both sides of the field. I mean, both of these guys are playing lights out.
Well, they've thrown a combined 8 touchdowns with no interceptions. Hartman's thrown 5 to tie the school record. Uyunglele's thrown 3. Will Shipley trying to get the first down. Kobe Turner made the stop short of the first down. Third down, less than a yard. You would think 4 down territory here. They bring in Luke Price, an extra tight end. Clock running under 14 minutes to go. Out of the gun. Shipley, first down. Another thing impressive to me, Todd, about Uyunglele, he really carries out those fakes after he hands it off. There's been a few times from up here you had to hesitate for a moment to make sure he didn't have the ball.
And you wonder, okay, what's the effect of that? The effect of that is it makes linebackers be honest. Even if it causes a slight hesitation, it takes them away from a play. That's all you want. Just buy an extra second by carrying out a fake.
They almost missed the handoff here to Shipley. Cuts inside the 10. Shows that combination of speed and power that their coaches talk about. Evan Slocum, who's in there for Mustafa, in on the tackle. And is it a first down? Yes, it is.
Good fake, good run, nice blocking outside by the receivers. Brandon Spector, number 13, right in the middle of that. Boy, just one response drive after another. No turnovers yet. You wonder if that's going to be the difference in this ball game with 2 hot offenses.
And perhaps just one defensive stop might be enough. Shipley again on 1st and goal from the 6, dove down to the 4, stopped by Tyler Williams, in the middle of that defensive line.
Second down.
Dave Clawson very close with Dabo Sweeney. They worked a lot together during the pandemic to come up with the protocols that these teams would observe. Williams down on the field. Dabo Sweeney said, I admire Dave Clawson as a football coach and as a man. Dave Clawson said, I feel the same way with Dabo, but he probably likes me because he's 8-0 against me. Clawson trying to make it 8-1. Back in a moment. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, celebrating the challenge of road games everywhere. Are you ready for the road? Goodyear, more driven. Mustafa back out of the locker room with the shoulder injury, trying to get loose. Told the coaches he is ready to go back in. 2nd and goal, Clemson trying to tie it. From the 4, Uyunglele got banged down just shy of the goal line. Evan Slocum, Mustafa's stand-in with a big hit on a stumbling Uyunglele.
Yeah, if he goes lower and goes for the legs, Uyunglele is going to carry him into the end zone, but he hits him high and knocks him sideways, and that's why he comes up short of the goal line. Good hard tackle by Evan Slocum.
Just 5'10", 190 pounds, 3rd down and goal. 11 and a half to go. Well, they call DJ again. Shipley on his right hip. Shipley stopped and then lunging for the goal line and gets there. Effort. Some question as to whether or not his elbow was down. We'll take a close look at it.
He's hit by Gavin Holmes. Looks for sure like there's no way he can get in the end zone. Is the elbow down before the ball breaks the plane? Hard to tell from that angle. You got to see that straight down the line.
The hand goes down. That's okay.
Ruling on the field is a touchdown. Our play is under further review.
This will be a good angle here.
I think he's good.
I think the ball's across the plane before the elbow goes down.
I agree. Progressive pylon camera with the best angle. All you need to do is get it to the beginning of the goal line. And let's bring in Matt Austin. Matt, have you seen enough to come to a conclusion?
Well, not yet. The goal line cam shot is, you just can't really tell. If we can mirror the two together where we see it from the back of the end zone so we can see exactly where the ball is.
Wow.
And then when his elbow goes to the ground. But
you've learned a lot about sports television in 2 years, my friend. That is what they're working on in the truck right now.
But again, important to remember the ruling on the field was touchdown, so it has to be inconclusive evidence to change that call.
That is correct.
Nonetheless, regardless of how this plays out, that was an incredible individual effort by Will Shipley. Looked like he was stopped for sure. We talked about him being a fighter, a tough guy, emotional back who gets better the longer the game goes, and that was an incredible effort play.
Scored 2 touchdowns in each of their first 3 games.
The ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
Yep. Well, Shipley, Brad Streeter talked to us about his competitiveness and his desire to get into that end zone on full display there. What an effort. Now BT Potter to tie it with 11:16 to go. Clemson has scored on its last 2. Both times to tie it.
Take a look now. They give it to Shipley. He's going to bounce it outside. Right now, it looks like he might fall in, but the Gavin Holmes with the good high tackle. Trying to get an assist from Dylan Hazen.
Jalen Garnes, the original contact around the ankle. Then Holmes, he had help coming.
Hazen, number 50, was a backup linebacker also in there. This was not going to be denied. Fun guy to watch.
Oh my goodness.
I'll tell you what, I kind of like his look now too, with the beard and the mustache combination rather than just the little skinny mustache. I like that look better for Will Shipley.
Tremendous strength there too, to be on one hand and propel yourself across the line. That's 7 straight games now with a rushing touchdown. He started the day 1 off the national lead in touchdown runs, which was 7. Muhammad Ibrahim of Minnesota, Blake Corum of Michigan. End over end kick from BT Potter. Here's Kevin.
Sean, thankfully we're not interrupting a touchdown. There's a 4-box here going on ESPN. Auburn tied up at the moment with Mizzou 14 apiece. Baylor right now with a 10-point lead against Iowa State. Number 1 Georgia, they're taking it from Kent State. 22 points by the Golden Flashes. The most given up by that defense. And, of course, Mac Brown coming your way, 3:30, Boog.
Oh, that's the look of success, and Miss Sally's good cooking right there.
North Carolina, Notre Dame coming your way in less than 40 minutes. Back to you, Sean.
All right, thank you, guys. Here's Wake Forest now. And a good run on first down. With it long enough. Christian Turner got 8, tackled by Miles Murphy.
Well, again, it's a numbers game. The reason there's more running room here in the second half is because Wake Forest has been burnt by the pass game and the pass interference.
And it's a first down. Christian Turner skipping through the hole to the 38. Just joining us, Wake Forest has scored the last 4 possessions, touchdowns, with the exception of the 1 play at the very end of the half. They let the clock run out.
They have 5 touchdown drives, and 4 of them have been aided by defensive pass interference penalties. It's been a problem for Clemson today, and Wake Forest has just attacked downfield because of it. You either get the completion or you get a penalty. Those percentages are pretty good.
You said it. Warren Ruggiero said, we'll take sacks, but we're going to make a lot of big plays down the field. Here's another. Banks inside the 25-yard line.
Davis now looking around at some of his teammates as if to say, where's my help? It is a beleaguered secondary.
Well, they look a little confused right there. Whether there was going to be help or not, it doesn't matter because Sam Hartman is on target. Both quarterbacks now over 300 yards passing.
46-yard play. Turner. Didn't get anything there.
Single coverage beat right off the jump. It was press coverage and a perfect throw. Immediate separation. Good read by Sam Hartman. And another big catch by Jamal Banks down the field.
He has emerged as a star. 6 catches, matching his single game best in his career. He did that last week against Liberty. Has 141 yards, 2 touchdowns today. There's a hole for Christian Turner. And the desire to stick with the run paying off now for Wake Forest. Here's a huge 3rd down. They had 10 yards rushing in the first half. They've had 63 here in the second half. Trying to break a 35-all tie with under 9 minutes to go. Hartman toward the line, across the line, and down at the 11. And I would think with this much yardage to gain, they'll kick a field goal, and they will.
Yep, yardage and time. You know, there's a lot of game left in this football game. Take the lead, keep the pressure on Clemson. Remember, Clemson's a high-ranked team coming into the game.
Here's a brand new kicker, redshirt freshman Matthew Dennis. Took over from Nick Skiba, the most accurate field goal kicker in college football history. And he's improved on Skiba's numbers because he's perfect. 7 for 7, first try today from 29. Nick Skiba who? All Skiba did was make 89% of his field goals. Matthew Dennis gives them a 3-point lead. What a day for Sam Hartman and Jamal Banks.
College football on ABC is presented by Arby's. Arby's, we have the meats. And in part by Taco Bell. Vote for this month's Live Más student section on the Taco Bell app.
Sam Hartman's led Wake Forest to scores on their last 5 drives, with the exception of the 1 play to end the half. 4 touchdowns. Now a field goal. That could be a big stop by the Clemson defense. Clemson has scored on 4 of its last 6 possessions. Ivan Moore to kick off. They've been going to the pooch kickoff. Into a very slight breeze. And they're going to pop it up again. This time they'll try to return it. They move Antonio Williams over to that spot. Good move. As Drew Sweeney had been there, he's nowhere near as much a weapon with the ball in his hands as Antonio Williams. And A.J. Williams forced him out, but great starting field position.
Yeah, that's a great call, Sean. And Dabo Sweeney was coaching him up right before the kick. Lined him up exactly where he wanted him to be and said, if they're going to do that, we're going to counter with a little bit more of a weapon there to catch the football.
And you think Wake Forest should have been looking, okay, that's not Drew Sweeney anymore. It's a much more dynamic player. Best starting field position for Clemson. Up and down they go. Neither team has turned it over. We've 8 minutes to go. In a classic here in the ACC, Shipley, the short pass and run to the 48 of Wake Forest. And the crowd almost eerily silent here. Tension at Truist Field, hoping that, most of them anyway, hoping that Wake Forest can beat Clemson for the first time since 2008. 13 straight losses. Shipley again, lots of running room and a good open field tackle. Malik Mustafa, Shipley's high school teammate, back in the game with a separated shoulder to make a big stop. 3rd down and 2.
Yeah, here he is right here. He's going to come up. He's a fearless safety, good open field tackler. Had 13 tackles a week ago. Injury or not, he's going to to get his teammate, high school teammate, on the ground.
3rd down and 2. 13 out of 19. On 3rd down, the Tigers. Uiagalelei, first down to the 40-yard line. Tackled around the legs by Dion Bergen, a senior from Kissimmee, Florida.
I think if you're Clemson right now, too, you're thinking, let's run some clock, too, right? I mean, we've got on the move. They have not been able to stop us here of late. Confident you might be able to get a touchdown. Let's limit the amount of time or the amount of possessions Wake Forest might get again with the football.
And the biggest play calls of Brandon Streeter's offensive coordinator career right here with help from Dabo Swinney. Uiagalelei taken down at midfield. They blitzed Mustafa. Great call by Brad Lambert. A huge sack.
Yeah, and what happened was the running back got caught double teaming here. Here's Mustafa. He's going to blitz. That should have been the responsibility of Shipley. But Shipley's helping the tight end. Nobody picks up Mustafa. And a well-timed blitz gets the sack for Wake Forest.
9-yard loss. First Wake Forest sack of the day. From midfield, 5:35 to go. Clemson with the longest winning streak in the country. 9 in a row back to last year, down by 3. Uiagalelei flushed. Stopped at the 43-yard line. They'll need 12. On 3rd down, stopped by Ryan Smenda.
And you got to think about now, B.T. Potter's got a great leg. What is his range? Where do you have to think about getting here on this 3rd down and 12 to give yourself a chance to tie the football game?
Potter's made 7 field goals in his career, 50 plus. That is the Clemson record. Considered to have the strongest leg in college football. On 3rd down, Brenningstool gets them into more comfortable field goal range. They might not have tried it from the 41-yard line, but they will run Potter out there for about a 52-yard try.
That was a good decision by DJ. Just get yardage, give our guy a chance. It's a back and forth game.
Potter is 7 out of 9 in his career from 50 plus, as long as 52. This one will be put down very close to a 53-yarder. Drew Swinney, the holder. And that one is good. 52 yards officially, matching his career long. That's like a gimme for B.T. Potter. Came back for another year out of Rock Hill, South Carolina. They're so glad he did. Back for the finish, 4 minutes to go. We're tied at 38, 4:01 to go. Clemson trying to win its 14th straight against Wake Forest. Wake Forest has lost 62 in a row against top 10 teams. Their only win against number 4 Tennessee back in 1946. And after the touchback, it'll start at the 25-yard line.
Sam Hartman has had a brilliant game today, but right now with 4 minutes left, it's crunch time. And the number one thing you have to think about with your offense is you've got to stay on schedule. You can't have negative yardage plays and get behind the chains against Clemson's defense. Stay ahead of schedule, continue to take care of the football, and see if you can get your team down the field for another score.
Justice Ellison ahead for about 6.
You see how they run the football? It's so different. They don't hit the hole quickly. They wait in there. They hang in there behind the line with that mesh. And when they see a little crease, then they pop it out. Again, you mentioned it. 80 yards rushing now. Most of all of that here in the second half.
They're going to try it again. Ellison again. Ahead to the 37. All of a sudden, their rushing team. Last time Wake Forest won, 13 years ago, meetings ago, 2008. KJ Henry's dad, Keith, was on the staff here at Wake Forest under Jim Grove. A couple of days after Coach Henry's team beat Clemson, Tommy Bowden was fired as head coach at Clemson. Just a couple of days later, and he was replaced by a relatively unknown assistant by the name of Dabo Sweeney. KJ Henry has told Dabo many times over the years, my dad is responsible for you getting the head coaching job, and it's been a Hall of Fame head coaching job done by Dabo. Steady diet of runs here. And it's Ellison. And here comes a huge third down. He's about a half-yard short of the line to gain with 2.5 minutes to go, and neither coach inclined to use a timeout right now.
And see, this is what teams call a 4-minute offense. They've almost run 2 minutes off the clock. They got it with 4:01. They've run the football every play. They know they're not going to run it all the way down for a score, but they're leaning on the run right now, and it's a big 3rd down and 1.
You bring in an extra offensive lineman, number 52, Spencer Clapp. Certainly looks like a run formation. And it is a run. And leaning forward with an apparent first down, Justice Ellison, although the official at the top of the screen, always right on that yellow line. And we're going to have a measurement. The clock now stopped at 1:48 to go.
Dave Clawson and Warren Ruggiero know that they're not going to just slam this football down the field for the winning score. They're going to have to get another 1 or 2 chunk plays in this drive. But right now, the running game has done its purpose, which is get a couple first downs and use clock.
All they need is a field goal, and I think that's the strategy. Take it down in the field goal range with as little time left. Thought live he got the first down. I don't think it was a great spot, but he still got it.
So you've got 1:48 and all 3 of your timeouts if you're Wake Forest. So you're in a good position right now. But the throw game is where you've made your hay today, right?
I don't know why you go completely away from those bombs, because you're completing a lot of them and you're getting a lot of pass interference calls against Clemson, and they have an inexperienced secondary. So many of those names that we've called for several years not in the back 7.
Yeah, and that's a true freshman there. So I mean, they still got young guys out there in man coverage situations.
Yeah, that might be a little too much on the run. Ellison dumped by Tyler Davis. Neither team stopping the clock here. Loss on the play of about 3.
Yep, that's not staying on schedule. 2nd and 13 now. Both inside backers blitzed on that play. Good call.
Back to the passing attack. Hardman is going down. Back inside the 40. Tyler Davis and Miles Murphy. Wes Goodwin said, I am waiting for Miles Murphy to cut it loose. And he did on that play with Davis.
2nd and 13. You only have to rush your front 4, and you see why the strength of this defense is your defensive line. Huge play on 2nd down.
Timeout, Clemson.
Big call for new coordinator Wes Goodwin. Looks like he's going to play soft zone on this 3rd and long and only rush 4, not put his corners on an island.
3rd down and 17, tie game under a minute to go in regulation. Pressure from behind Hardman. He got it off short of the first down. It's the tight end, Blake Whiteheart, to the 48-yard line, perhaps just inside it. Not in field goal range. And a timeout called.
Trenton Simpson lost his helmet on the play. He's got to come out.
And it's a Clemson timeout. There was no timeout. It's for the injury. We'll see if either coach stops the clock. It's 4th down and 5. Simpson, a very important player. He's one of the few with experience in that back seven. So Dave Clawson has a decision to make here, Todd. And I think with as strong as Potter's leg is, you punt it down in the corner. Clemson's going to have only one timeout left, and you play for overtime.
Yeah, I think so. You play for overtime at home. Both quarterbacks have played well.
Clemson has called a timeout to prevent a 10-second runoff. This is their third and final timeout.
But they know, I think Dabo Swinney's thinking, they're not going to go for it. So we want time when we get the ball back. They have a kicker with an incredibly strong leg.
30 seconds on the timeout.
Longest field goal for Dennis, and it's a limited pool, obviously. There's Potter, the great long field goal kickers in college football history. Just made his 8th from 50 plus a moment ago to tie it. Dennis as long as 46. That was last week against Liberty.
Well, the other thing about punting the football here for Wake Forest is you have the opportunity to pin them back better than you would on the kickoffs, because Clemson has adjusted to the short kickoff, right?
Well,
so now punting it,
you know, if you pin them in there deep, you have all 3 of your timeouts
right.
if you want to use them on defense. Dave Clawson said, from a talent standpoint, this is the most even it's been when Clemson has played Wake Forest in his 9 seasons. He said we need to win a close game. It's a close game. He's terrific in close games, 9-3 since the start of 2020 in 1-score games, including last week when they hung on to beat Liberty. Good punt by Mora. And they'll be down at the 13-yard line.
Clemson only had 10 guys on the field that time. I mean, I'm not sure what exactly they were. Obviously, they were in a safe punt situation, but didn't have enough players on the field.
So if you're Dabo Swinney, you're inside your own 15. You have no timeouts.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to be careless here. You maybe try a screen or something safe early. If you can get 1 first down, maybe you become a little more aggressive. Your quarterback has made good decisions all day. But this first play and the first down, how quickly you can get a first down, kind of would dictate that.
They have 3 wide receivers, 2 to the left of Uiagalelei. Shipley, we're hoping he could pop one. He's certainly capable of it. Well, if Clemson's going to do that, if you were Dave Clawson, would you think about your timeouts?
Yeah, it doesn't look like he wants to. He's right down there by the official trying to make a decision. It doesn't look like he's going to do it either. He's thinking overtime. Dabo's thinking overtime.
And they're going to go to overtime. These 2 great friends, Swinney and Clawson. Snap it. They're not going to. Didn't get it off. If they were trying, and we'll head to overtime. In the 88th meeting all time. So many streaks on the line in this critically important ACC game in the top 25.
Studio reminding you we've got 7 minutes away from Notre Dame at North Carolina. Kickoff of that game scheduled to be on ESPN News as overtime begins in Winston-Salem. Back to you, Sean.
Tied at 38 and heading for overtime. Here's the coin toss.
All right, gentlemen, we're going to overtime. Each team has 1 timeout. Okay. When we start the series, we start at the 25. We're going to play regular football from the 25. Second time through, start at 25, but you got to go for 2. And then the third possession, we're going to start on the 3-yard line. Any questions so far?
Yes, sir.
All right, we got a coin. That's a head. That's a tails. So there is a tails. All right, what's your call, Clemson?
Tails.
Tails is a call. It is a tails.
Defense.
Clemson wants defense, offense.
We'd like to play down there.
You got it. Let's go. Wake Forest.
That's KJ Henry, of course, his dad, a former Wake Forest coach, who made the call on the coin toss. Here's how he got there. That was the 2-point play that tied it at 28. Clemson led 14-0 right out of the gate. These 2 teams have just answered each other score for score.
Some incredible individual efforts by both teams. A couple clutch kicks. You consider those defensive stops as well when you make them settle for a field goal, but it has been one response after another.
No turnovers. The kickers have been perfect. Total yards, 504 now for Clemson, 418 for Wake Forest, and 79 rush yards in the second half. They start from the 25. You almost always choose to go on defense. See what happens when you go on offense. You know what you need to do. Ellison, the running back. They start with him again. Big hole. Justice Ellison. A 9-yard gain. Miles Murphy took him down.
Yeah, they blitzed and they laid an open gap. Two guys went into the same gap. It was a good read by Ellison, seeing the daylight, and a nice run on first down.
It is the most experienced offensive line in the country, and holding its own today against the Clemson defense that's beaten them up in recent years. Ellison got the first down.
I think you got to attack right here. You've run two plays. You got a first down. I think you got to go after these two different corners. You've got Toriano Pride, number 23, a freshman up here. And on the other side, you got Nate Wiggins, number 20. Both have had tough days. Right now, it looks like the safeties are in a position to help both corners.
Both corners playing well off. Ellison again. A yard, perhaps. Doesn't look like he got anything. I think Dave Clawson, win or lose, will be asked about this very run-heavy play calling late in the game when they flung it all over the place. Hartman, a career day 5 touchdown passes, 329 yards.
And part of it is the philosophy has changed defensively for Clemson. When they have two high safeties, that means we're trying to help our corners. And we open this up to the run.
Ellison found a hole on the left, and Powers driving those legs at 5'10", 208. Here comes an enormous 3rd down and 3. Jeremiah Trotter made the tackle, the new starter this year, the son of the outstanding Pro Bowl player for the Eagles, Redskins, and Bucks. Here's the middle linebacker now. Huge play. Hartman throws to a wide open receiver for a touchdown. Nobody near A.T. Perry. A bust in that young and inexperienced secondary.
It starts with Ellison picking up the blitz. Good pocket for Sam Hartman, then a mix-up in the back end of the defense, and Hartman makes it pay for it by finding A.T. Perry. Great job picking up the blitz by Ellison, and then Hartman reading the breakdown in coverage and getting the touchdown throw.
The 6th touchdown thrown by Hartman. That is the school record all by himself. He had twice previously thrown 5. Matthew Dennis with the biggest kick in terms of extra points as a collegiate. He has it. He still hasn't missed a kick, PAT or field goal in 4 college games. It's the school record. Jamie Newman, John Wolford, Riley Skinner among the others who had thrown 5 touchdown passes for Wake Forest in the game, but nobody had thrown 6 until today.
Bunch formation. They had 3 wide receivers, or 2 receivers and the tight end, and it just confused this secondary. Here's the blitz pickup, first of all, right in here, and then you've got 2 receivers and a tight end in a bunch formation. There's 3 defenders, but 2 of them go one way, and nobody goes with A.T. Perry to the middle of the field. And now it's Clemson's turn.
Uyunglele out of the gun with 3 receivers, and now Shipley goes in motion. He pulls it down, looked like a design run. They weren't fooled. Tyler Williams in the middle of the defense, and Jasheen Davis there as well. Uyunglele's thrown for 325 and 3 touchdowns.
And Antonio Williams has been a little bit of a problem for Wake Forest. Here he is, the first guy in this little jumbo set.
Uyunglele rolls in the direction of that two-receiver setup. Found Bo Collins, but well short of the first down. 3rd down and 6. It's definitely 4-down territory. A field goal does them absolutely no good. They have to score a touchdown and kick the extra point to get to a second overtime.
And that affects your play calling. You automatically know you've got 2 downs here. You call a play to get past the sticks, but if you have to dump it off early or if the quarterback has to run, you know you got another down to make the yard to gain.
Uyunglele lofts it up for Collins. Touchdown, Clemson.
Beautiful throw.
He beat J.J. Roberts in coverage for a 21-yard score.
Clean pocket. And then watch this. Right over the outside shoulder. Gets separation. Again, when the ball's thrown there, the corner has no chance. Both of these quarterbacks have been brilliant. Putting the ball in the right place time after time. Progressive pylon cam shows it again. Perfect throw and catch. Clemson trying to tie this up.
They have to have the extra point from Potter. It's good. And we'll head to a second overtime. Bo Collins, the touchdown. His former high school teammate and great friend, DJ Uyunglele, who's thrown 4 TDs. 88th meeting in this rivalry, and a dandy tied at 45. Under Dabo Swinney, Clemson 120-2 when leading by 14 points at any point in the game. They led 14-0 today. You have to go back to 2012, the last time they lost in that situation at Florida State. 2010, the other against Auburn. They haven't squandered a 14-point lead in a decade. And trying to keep that mark intact. So many streaks on the line, but more importantly, the win for 2 teams eyeing a conference championship. On the run, Shipley on 1st and 10. Will Shipley powers down. He will not be denied, as we saw in the short touchdown run, and on that run for 9.
This had a chance to be about a 2-yard loss. Bothroyd has him behind the line of scrimmage, can't get him to the ground. And once Shipley gets his shoulder square, it's more yards.
And a flag down.
Ball start. Offense, number 71. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Jordan McFadden, the grad student. We talked to Brandon Streeter. He said, I have no worries with him. He's terrific. That's a costly penalty. They're 10th for 120 yards. 2nd and 6. They score a touchdown here with the new rules this year. You heard Jeff Heiser, the referee, explain they have to go for 2. And Wake Forest is guaranteed a possession. Uyunglele, single coverage, man breaking free. Collins couldn't make a one-handed catch. And there is no flag on the play.
Well, Collins made one of these one-handed catches against Wake Forest last year.
J.J. Roberts, the coverage.
No, there's no call because, if anything, the receiver was holding off the defender. I don't think, that's just both of them had a hand on each other. Nobody impeded each other from the catch. Just wasn't able to come down with it.
Matt Austin agrees with you, our referee. From the 22, 3rd down and 6. Uyunglele faked it to Shipley. He throws to the end zone. Caught! Davis Allen. There was plenty of hand fighting in the end zone with Mustafa in coverage. Allen, another touchdown catch.
Again, the athleticism of the big tight end, 6'6", 250, going against Mustafa, who's 5'10" and 200. It's an intentional back shoulder throw to a tight end running down the seam. It's perfect coverage, but you throw that ball high into the opposite shoulder, it's impossible for a smaller guy to defend. Just a perfect placed ball by DJ Uiagalelei.
The coach has told us Allen might be the best blocking tight end they've had during the Dabo Swinney year, and he's more than dependable as a receiver. He has been today. 2 touchdown catches for the senior from Calhoun, Georgia. Now they must try for 2. Put it on the left hash mark again. Shipley on the right hip of DJ Uiagalelei. Career high 5 touchdown passes. Uiagalelei has it batted down. Kobe Turner, a huge play.
Second time he's done that today. He's nowhere near the quarterback. He's not going to get close to a sack, but he is going to get a deflection. He's kind of stymied at the line of scrimmage, but he keeps his eyes on DJ and times his jump and gets a big paw up there to knock it down.
Here's Kevin Nagandi.
Sean, an update from the Bronx. Aaron Judge, 4th at bat, a home run shy of 61, and this is how it went down. A check swing in a 5-5 game with 2-2 count, and he's called out. So Judge, 4 at-bats, 0 for 3 with a walk, still sitting on home run number 60, chasing history. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Kevin. Here, Wake Forest needs the touchdown to tie the game, and then they'd have a try for 2 to win the game. So they have to score at least 6. They stick to the ground game, and Ellison is dropped.
Sean, they stick to the run game because the numbers say stick to the run game. However, Brazee, right in the middle of this defense, just makes a man's play. I mean, there's only 5 guys in the box, but Brazee just beats his man to the line of scrimmage, or Tyler Davis.
Hartman, deflected pass in the general direction of Whitehart, and that was Brazee who batted it out of the air.
These 2 guys on the inside, both will be playing on Sundays. They did not play a week ago.
There's the Brazee family. They had memorial service for Brian's 15-year-old sister, Ella, this past Tuesday. You can imagine what an emotional day this is. You saw it in the dad, Rich. 3rd down and 10. Hartman, running for his life, runs out of bounds at the 22-yard line. They'll give him the 21, pursued by Barrett Carter, the speedy sophomore linebacker, another new starter. And it is a must-have 4th and 6 for Dave Clawson. Or the streak goes to 14 straight wins for Clemson over Wake Forest.
And again, soft coverage with safety help. They're not going to get beat in man-to-man.
Hartman throws it into double coverage. Knocked down by Wiggins. Terrorized most of the day. And an emotional win for the Clemson Tigers. Well, the closest Dave Clawson and Wake Forest had come in his 8 previous matchups was 14 points. He knew he had a better chance today. They had it, they couldn't get it. Dabo Swinney wins again. He's with Molly.
Coach, defensive tackle Brian Brazee with a crucial defensive play in that second overtime. What was it like watching this game come down to your defense?
Well, I'm 52. I just turned 62 today. Unbelievable. First of all, man, this is what a top 15 game should look like. And Wake Forest, I told our team this ain't gonna be easy. It's gonna come down to the last play because that's who they are as a program. Their kids played and reflected the character and the leadership of Dave Clawson and his staff. Man, this team right here has got a ton of freaking heart. They're the Atlantic's champs. They won it. So, but our guys hung in there. You saw a lot of football character out of our team tonight. It was really, really ugly in the passing game. And really, in one spot, we did a poor job in coverage and give them credit. But when it came down to that last play, we made it. And I'm so proud of our offense. You know, we'll get this defense fixed. But, man, this offense, our quarterback, all the big plays, they never flinched. And, you know, that's what it's all about, man. I'm just really proud of them. They grew up a little bit tonight. Again, we're a work in progress. The name of the game's to win. It's been a long time since we've had an overtime game. But if you're going to win a division championship, a league championship, you got to be able to win on the road. And to be able to win in overtime on the road with a lot of adversity, that shows the character and the heart of our young men. I'm really proud of them.
Speaking of character and heart, how about the fact that one of the most crucial defensive plays came down to Brian Brzee?
Yeah, Brian, you know, listen, his family's here. I didn't get a chance to see him before the game, but it's been a crazy week, and I'm proud of Brian. It's been a tough time for him. But you know, I'm sure his family, they needed a little joy, and hopefully they can go celebrate tonight and enjoy this game.
Congratulations on the win.
What a win for Clemson. They took the lead. Great body position by Davis Allen. Post up and score the go-ahead touchdown in the second overtime. And then that secondary attacked all day long, but not very often late in the game. Emotional win for Brzee. Rest in peace, Ella. Clemson wins 51-45 in 2 overtime.
Clemson now